Excellent. So, to go ahead and start this off, Eli, go ahead and roll me a initiative check.
Damn it.
You can do it within the combat tracker.
Yeah. Oh, give me some small mercies, please.
Lord, give me strength.
19, not bad. The assassin rolled a 5. So, you guys go ahead, and in this current stage, you are sitting on the couch, just having noticed this assassin who is sitting in the loft, and it looks like you have the first draw. After tapping on your little pad, figuring out that it's dead, your instincts kick in, and you immediately go into combat mode. What's your first plan of action?
I'm going to start this off strong and just straight up mind thrust.
Alright, go ahead. Does that need a will save?
Let me check.
Yes.
Either will or fortitude.
Will, if I'm
Will.
Not certain if that's working. That'd be a 20 total.
That.
Yep, that passes.
Alright, is that half
Any-
damage?
Yes, half.
Go ahead and roll the damage.
Damage. There we go.
13, so I'm going to say he takes a total of 12.
7? No.
Or, sorry. Yeah, 7. Alright,
Yeah.
it is now his turn. So, still in the post after shuddering from that mental exertion. What's up?
I was just wondering if I could use my turn to take cover as well.
Oh yeah, I'm certain you could use your movement action. Where do you want to go?
Behind the couch I was sitting by. I'm just gonna kind
Yeah,
of jump
you go
back
ahead and, after exerting yourself, just throw yourself behind the couch and take cover. So, you hear kind of a stifled laughter, and there's just a little, not bad, before you hear some kind of sound of physical movement, and immediately, just this full-on, much heavier than you were expecting, cybernetic assassin just crash lands onto the couch right next to you. And from his right arm, you see his arm unfold, and from the top of his forearm, an almost chest-length blade forms and then ignites.
Oh boy.
Ruh-roh, Raggy.
Does a 35 hit you?
Yeah.
And
dead.
what the fuck kind of question was that?
I've got to ask the question.
Wait, which kind? If there, I
Do
know it's
what?
called. Quick question: does the couch provide partial or full cover?
I would say that this couch would probably provide partial cover.
Okay. If I had full cover, then yeah, I would have been live. But nope.
So, he goes ahead and just stabs this directly through the couch and deals a total of 21 points of damage towards you.
I
there's-
have 5 health.
Through the actual fabric, and you see it shimmer and vibrate off before reducing to ash, and it just carves right through the left side of your body, and you can feel all sorts of internal damage being registered. And whenever you look up to meet his masked gaze, there is just the cold precision of a rehearsed killer. It is now your turn.
Oh. Thinking.
Cool music.
I'm gonna take a peer around the room. Is there a viable means of quick escape?
Go ahead and give me a perception check.
Okay, where is it? There it is.
Ooh.
A 24. Your immediate, instinctive reaction is to run for the door, but you realize that
The
he
laundry
will
chute.
be on you if you go for that. Any attempt to get through via, manual, the elevator or the stairs, you get a sense that this dude is much faster than you. You feel like your only chance of survival, which is very unlikely, is to throw yourself out of your apartment window.
I'm on
Fuck it,
which
go out
floor?
on your own terms.
I'm on which floor?
Suicide pack, suicide pack, suicide pack.
The top floors.
It's like that scene from Venom. Bet you won't jump. Pussy.
Yeah. Let me take a peek at something real quick. I may have. So instead of me, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna roll out to the side. It's just like at least, or I'm not gonna go down without a fight at least, and I'm going to attempt to take a shot at him. Since spells are obviously not gonna work.
So you go ahead and I assume take a guarded step to avoid an attack opportunity, and then try to shoot him with your pistol.
Rifle, yeah.
Rifle. Okay.
Rifle A.
So
I don't have a pistol yet.
that's fine. You go ahead and sweep out from beside him and try to keep on your toes to prevent him from getting another lucky stab on you. And with your rifle in one hand, you just go ahead and sling it and bring it to shoot him. Just go ahead and give me an attack roll. A 15. You lock straight onto this individual and pull the trigger. And where he was is now where he isn't. So, as you go to pull the trigger and realize that there is nothing but thin air there, you feel another stab, this time directly in your heart, as he is going to make another longsword attack.
Goodbye, Sal. It's been
32.
Sal was tonight's biggest loser.
Yep.
Or
Right off the bat.
29 points of damage.
You should have just jumped out of the window.
You really should have. Go out on your own terms.
Nah, I did go out on my own terms. I went down with a fight.
Nah, you should have jumped out of the window, pussy.
So, as you feel this blade emerge from the center of your chest and look down to find yourself impaled on this blade that is now reducing, like, the internals of your chest into just mere ash. You look back just one more time to see this individual, and the only thing he has to say to you is, shame. Before he pulls it from your chest and you fall to the floor. Your last moments in this reality are watching him approach the window. He puts a simple hand up to the side of his face and says, "It's done." And as you fade, it takes you a moment for you to realize that not all is lost and not all is over. As you sit up from where you are currently lurched over, spread out on the floor, and you take a look around and immediately realize that we can stop with this amazing music, but go back to some ambience.
This isn't working.
But like I said, you sit up from your position on the floor, and it takes you only a moment to realize as you look down and see your own body.
I'm just going to kind of look at it for a second and be like, so this is what Yarich more than likely went through. Oh.
With coalescing smoke right beside you, you see the form of Aspect a bit more solid than you're typically used to. And she, who is sitting in kind of like a cross position, just goes, "Yep."
Well, at least I know now he's not crazy.
Nah, he seemed pretty intact whenever he was cutting you apart. So, what's next?
Okay. Well, considering that Yarich is back amongst the living, I'm assuming there's a way for that for me as well, correct?
Oh, yeah, sure. I have to say, I don't have to feed that often, but this is appreciated. So, do you want to take some time to settle your bearings while you're still dead, or do you want to come back now?
Off on another note, is time really a factor in this, wherever we are?
The state of your body is of some concern. So, like, if you rotted away, it'd be a bit harder to spin you back to life, but you could spend a night if you wanted to.
Well, I had a couple questions considering the state of this.
Sure.
If I could return to life, what are the limitations? I'm assuming this can't. I'm not functionally immortal, because that would be too far beyond the realms of possibility, considering, well, the circumstances.
Well, doing this is pretty strenuous. It doesn't bring you back intact just to the point before death. And, if your body is gone, I can't bring you back.
And I'm assuming twice in quick succession is a no-go, correct?
It's stressful. For both me and you.
And, on another note, considering you were there, you noticed anything out that I did not of that assassin? Particularly, I know he's from a clan my father used to work for, but I didn't know if you noticed anything that was outside of my purview.
Let me think. I'll be honest, there wasn't really much time to look. But he did look fairly unnatural, like there was no visible skin showing. And it's probably pretty likely that he's some kind of cyborg. Meaning that whoever sent him likely has access to a lot of resources. Kind of out of our spectrum right now.
So, not the type of rogue agent, but more. This was from the actual organization themselves, not just someone all going off on a tangent.
Well, I don't imagine that he was some hired street thug, if that's what you're asking.
He's just going to kind of put his head in his hands. Okay, so how do we get this show on the road?
What, do you want to come back now?
Let's give it a couple of hours, or at least until, so we can be sure that whoever he is isn't lingering.
Well, I'll be here if you want to talk, but I am gonna slip away. I've got other stuff to attend to. Just holler if you need me. And dissipates into a formless gas.
At this point, Sal's just going to kind of get up, and he's going to kind of test the limits of how far he can travel around.
So you go ahead and stand up, and your boots do come into contact with the floor, but surprisingly, they don't make much sound. And taking a peek around, it's like this very faint, reduced noise. Something about this particular place that you're in, kind of dulling sensation. Like everything around you is almost stripped of color, sounds are muted, it's very, very spectral.
He's going to walk up to the bar where he left the glasses, and he's going to try to take like one of the slender ones and kind of knock his finger against it and see.
You get about 10, 15 feet away from your body, and you feel this almost pull, like a draw or magnetism that keeps you stuck to your body.
He's just going to walk around in a circle and see if it was just in one direction or if it's completely circular.
It seems to be a 15-foot circular perimeter.
So a total of 30 feet that he has access to around his corpse.
Yep.
Is there anything like the glass on the table he had? Can you reach it?
Yeah, I mean, your body was right next to the couch and the table, and you go over and try to pick it up and find that your fingers pass through the glass.
He's just going to see if he can't get a sound from it, like just kind of tap his nail against it.
Nope. It seems like you are not capable of interacting with any environment but the floor. And even then, like, you get a sense that those in the material plane probably can't hear your footsteps.
I'm going to try to walk back to my body and kind of, like, hover my hand over it and see if I can't, like, figure
Are you
out.
gonna try and Danny Phantom your way back into your corpse?
No, he's just wanting more along the lines of seeing what's anchoring him there. I was seeing if I would have any mystical
that's a
knowledge.
reference I thought I would never hear again.
I know.
Danny Phantom your way back to your corpse.
He's a phantom.
Okay, so you start waving your hand in front of your face, and you start catching the humor of the entire situation, of like trying to wake yourself up.
No, I
But
was
you get
meaning more looking for an anchor, like what's keeping me here, or if there's some sort of spell effect.
you get a sense that it is your literal body. Like, it's not necessarily that you're reaching a physical wall, it's like you were being drawn back to your body, which is a beacon for your spirit.
Would I know anything off the top of my head about this phenomenon or something similar?
This is completely unknown to you. Whatever this process is, it's probably relating to aspect.
Okay. I'm going to look at the couch where he stabbed through it and the wounds on my body, and I'm gonna try to discern what sort of weapon he had used.
Alright. Do you have engineering?
I do not.
Go ahead and give me a perception check.
Okay. I just wanted to know, considering my family's in the weapons business. That's why I was wondering if it was something they had used or produced, should I say?
Right. Maybe we can use your profession noble then,
Okay.
since that's related to your family. A 16. You don't know particularly like what kind of weapon this is, but you do go ahead and closely observe like the actual impact site along your body and the couch, and you realize that it hasn't burned away anything. There was nothing fiery about that weapon. It seemed to almost render anything that it passed through without resistance, mind you. You didn't see any resistance come from the blade, it simply went through things like butter. And then anything that it touched or passed through was reduced to an ash that just kind of disintegrated, presumably into gas.
Okay. And I'm going to take a chance, and I'm going to see if I can't cast a token spell to make a little light, and seeing if.
Yeah, I mean, you go ahead and manifest a little bit of your spectral power, and there's token light is just a little hovering light above you.
I'm going to look at the glass now and see if there's a reflection. The
You
glass that
do
was on the
turn
table.
over and you do look down at the glass table and you see yourself kind of reflected back there. You're not certain if this can be seen from the living standard, but
Okay, I'm going to use it to conjure a little one bulk block, and I'm going to lob it at the glass.
you go ahead and pull out a block with your mind, a simple small object, and throw it. It passes through the table, hits the floor, and makes a soft thud before it simply fades into the background.
So it hits the table, actually.
No,
It,
floor.
Oh,
it just passes through the table and seems to
okay.
hit the floor.
Okay. In that case, I'm just going to kind of sit there, and now that I have a really good, I figured out quite a bit of how this fucking works. And here I was hoping to help people from the grave. I'm just going to kind of sit. Am I within range of the balcony?
Definitely not. The balcony would be more than 15 feet away from your corpse.
Okay. At that point, I'm just gonna kind of lay down next to my body and just kind of drift off for an hour or two.
You are
Until
still by the couch,
yeah. Well, I can't really sit on it, so
of course, but you can kind of stay next to your corpse, I suppose.
yeah. Until Aspect comes back in a couple hours.
All right. So, with that, we will go to our other characters. So, does anybody have any immediate business that they want to take care
Well,
of?
if it's around nighttime, I remember last session I was in my shitty, cheap motel talking with Tim Tom about my medical conditions. So, if it's around nighttime, I think I'm gonna hunker down and just go to bed.
Anyone else?
No, I imagine Tim Tom, all he's gonna do is like just examine some medical records, and then after that, he's just gonna I don't know, pass out on the fucking floor. Because I imagine like there's just like I don't even imagine it's a fucking like bedroom. I imagine it's a fucking fold out futon.
If it's a typical motel, there's at least 2 beds.
Pull out mattress.
Tim Tom's fine with sleeping on the floor.
Oh,
Like if Tim Tom's big, if Tim Tom gets in the bed, there's gonna be no bed.
excellent.
What y'all are just going to chatter with the engineer that's been helping them fix the buggy.
You want to ask him
And-
anything in particular, or do you just want to do like small talk?
For now, small talk and try to get an understanding of both each other.
So
Just
you get a sense that Gackle Dragonbelt is a fairly down-to-earth person, kind of accepting of his role in society. He's definitely somebody who appreciates working on vehicles, and he's definitely somebody that tends to think of themselves as a tough person. Just kind of rough, no-nonsense, down-to-earth, likes to work on shit. Your typical average dwarf mechanic.
fair enough, fair enough. I can respect that.
Speaking of your
I will ask him
no-nonsense attitude.
one question. Where did he learn his skills from?
Oh, I see. Well, if you're trying to learn things here on Zavoth, that's probably not gonna work out too well. Most of the education system is worn to shit, but if you are looking to get some actual, genuine learning, maybe you might find your way into the Syndicate core sectors. I'm certain that some academy will be willing to take you in for some amount of money.
I, I don't really have much money, but I was more curious about if you learned it from someone. Personally, I was taught by my mentor. He's been taken off by someone or some group. I'm trying to get back to him, but it's he's off planet at the moment. He's in this system, but it's a matter of getting to him.
Off planet, like, kidnapped by, I don't know, gangers? Gangers wouldn't be able to get you off planet.
We were on our way to which moon was it? Pryosha? No.
Well, if you're going to a moon in this sector, you're going to Castellum.
Castellum. Thank you, thank you. I need to write that down on my. But yes, we were on our way to Castellum to do some work there, but we got ambushed, and the ambushers just sent me off on a wild ride. Eventually, I ended up here.
What do you plan on doing?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. I want to get back to him and make sure he's all right. If they ambushed us, that must mean they have service for him and wouldn't just kill him, would they? Would they?
Well, I figure if
Yeah.
they've taken him away for a specific purpose, then they've likely got plans for him.
Yes.
I mean, I wouldn't be afraid of him being dead.
Alright.
That's my personal opinion. As for who trained me, he was my old damn pop. I mean, he was a rough son of a bitch. He's gone now, but, you know. As for who trained me, there's no one better.
Yeah. Even though my mentor was human, he almost felt like a pop. I say with 4 quotation marks, not knowing how the quotation works.
You know what? I'm feeling kind of bad for you. What the hell do you people eat?
I can actually eat quite a bit. It's just a matter of, well, how much you can stomach my bot, how I work. There's If you want to know, my tongue will rip things apart and put things into it.
Well, that's terrifying. I was gonna order out, but I mean, I've got
Yeah,
food
that's
that
why
I
I
can
always
make.
cover my face when I'm eating solid food. Mostly I just drink sugar water, because that's also just as fulfilling.
You just drink water filled with sugar.
It's something like a human nectar, I heard. But
Well,
it's
all
not
right.
as...
I don't quite have sugar water, but I do have soda, so I'll get you one of those while I'm making something. You just sit tight, and he kind of like slaps the couch next to him, gets up, and in this very tight, like one person house. He doesn't live in splendor. He's just a rundown mechanic on the sides of Hollins. He does throw you a can of soda and makes food for the rest of you.
Yeah.
Very
I'll
Drink some
pop it
refreshing.
simple
open
syrup
and
water.
I
Wait,
put I pop the soda open and stick my proboscis into it, kind of having my mouth near it so it doesn't show too often much.
Fair enough. You enjoy your night with Gackle.
And I'm going to say thank you so much. Help you through, but
Yeah, one
tomorrow
mechanic to the other.
I'll
Why
be
not?
willing to help you through with any of the projects and with our vehicle or anything else you need.
Sure, I could use a hand.
All right. With that, I think I'm going to be calling it a night. And
Alrighty. So, as it comes back to daytime, does anybody have any imminent business?
Not really business. I was probably going to be talking a lot with Uvon about any relevant details to the case and such.
Darian's alive, right?
Darian is absolutely alive. I would
He-
probably say that you would coalesce into your physical form next to probably the tightest majority of the party, which would likely be the two, the Tim Tom and the Centurion.
Vaku
So
is
you,
also in the motel I'm in, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
fair enough. Vaku is
Yeah.
also there, so that makes it the significant majority. So as you all are getting ready, making food, just getting ready to go out and perform your day's activities, the
Tim Tom is
smoke
making Tim Tom's special scrambled eggs.
the smoke comes out of nowhere and forms into our good old friend the bounty hunter, who drops to the floor. You know as much as you know now.
That's always weird to have happen.
Oh, hey,
Oh,
you're
hey there,
back.
Bob.
I see you don't have the best relationship with physical reality.
Apparently not.
Hmm.
Oh, don't worry there. Don't give him such a hard time. It happens to the best of us.
So, Tim Tom, you say that your scrambled eggs are special. What makes them special?
God.
See, I imagine Tim Tom's a shit cook, so I imagine his scrambled eggs are the equivalent of army scrambled eggs.
You're also talking about making scrambled eggs to a bird.
Oh god.
Oh, you take these here, and Tim Tom shows up an egg.
I mean, birds eat other
Crack.
bird eggs.
Entire vial of salt.
I just every time he cracks an egg, Vaku winces.
Then you
Poor
give it
children.
a good whisk.
My god, okay.
Well, we typically don't eat the eggs of other avian creatures. We do
Would
have
this
we
be
do have
considered
reptilian creatures that we
cannibalism to your kind?
well, no, because they're not Leoka eggs. So
Tim Tom cocks his head.
it
What's
is
the
rather
point?
odd, though.
Levi,
Yes, Eli.
I'm assuming like after a couple hours, I got resurrected.
I kind of like the aesthetic of waiting until the sun starts to come up to resurrect.
Okay.
So as the party is getting ready, Darius, he is Darian. Sorry, it's
And on the dawn of the
hard to keep
third
track.
day, Sal rose from the dead.
Yeah, no, if you choose to come back now and nobody else has anything urgent to attend to, we'll get to the detective in just a moment. You find yourself having waited until morning, until you finally decide to call upon Aspect, who arrives with a little more enthusiasm than you'd expect with the event. So, you ready?
Yeah, might as well get the show on the road. He should be gone by now, and that should buy me time.
So, with the first time that I did this with the moth, it was a bit forceful, but that was because I was pretty much on my last legs. These things require a tremendous amount of a certain kind of focus. So, I would like you to just go ahead and close your eyes and concentrate on what you feel you should be like.
I'm just gonna go ahead and sit down into a meditation position and kind of remember. I'm just gonna think on like, some of the things that you wouldn't normally think of, like whenever you're up and
Existential dread
around,
and horror.
like touch, the weight of the body, how it felt to be alive.
Fair enough. So as you start doing this, there's a bit of like a excitement noises coming from this spectral AI who's just like, you're already pretty good at this. So I need you to concentrate that focus and feel yourself weave back. Like I said with the moth, it was much more violent. But if you have enough time and patience, you can use this energy.
I'm going to kind of think on that for a second, then I'm gonna kind of search out the feeling of the bond that was tying me to my corpse. I'm gonna try to like hug myself to it, like closing the gap, and try to pull myself back together.
So at this same moment, you feel a shroud, comforting, although cold, kind of surround you. And although it is dark in your mind's eye, you see light kind of emerging in the form of this sort of spindling, flaming string, which begins to weave and knit. And you feel with each moment little strides and needle marks of pain forming over your body. And over the course of a couple of minutes, weaving yourself back together, there is one startling breath, and you just suck in air, and you slam back up, the sound much more sharp than it was in death. And you look around and you are covered in wounds. You're at 1 hit point and 0 resolve.
Okay. I'm just going to kind of take a look around and just I'm gonna kind of call out Aspect. You still there?
You hear a chirp from your earbud that goes, "Yep, still here."
Does it normally feel like this, or is this an exception?
I'm sure it'll be different other times that we do it, but this one pretty well, all things considered.
Okay, I'm just trying to get a baseline, and I gotta take back everything I said to Yarich. And you, in particular. For that, considering the circumstances, I apologize for any negative comments I had about this entire process.
Okay, I understand.
I'm
I
just
would
going to,
be scared of me too.
well, considering the other circumstance was death, this is the preferable alternative. You have my thanks. I'm gonna kind of start trying to get up off the floor. And the first thing I'm gonna do is sit back on the couch and finish that glass that I hadn't finished.
Alcoholism takes no breaks.
It's now dusty and feels like some of the alcohol has evaporated out of it, but you're damn well not going to waste it.
It's still good alcohol. It might have been sitting out for all night, but it's still good alcohol.
I'm going
Any
to
alcohol's good alcohol after you've been dead for a night.
I'm gonna take a peek at my pad and take a look and see if it's still dead.
Yeah, you actually go to turn it back on, and it comes on as if it had been turned off.
At that point, I'm going to turn it off and take out its power cell.
Right. So you go ahead and unhook this, pull out the battery, and you know, You're actually pretty thankful that this comm unit has a battery. Like, some of these corporations, they build them into the
I was
product.
about to say, wow, in
Yeah.
the far future, they let you take the batteries out? The Syndicate actually protected right to repair? What the fuck?
The Syndicate is more ethical than Apple.
Yeah,
Confirmed.
the
Well,
Syndicate's
now that I
more
have-
ethic than fucking American capitalism. What the hell?
Okay, at that
Shit.
point, I'm gonna look towards Aspect and just say, do you
You don't
have?
see her around you.
Well, you kind of get my drift. I'm going
You
to
speak to
acknowledge
the
it.
area.
Do you have connection to your alternate parts?
You mean, like my shell?
No, I'm meaning the others.
I suppose I do. Do you need to share something?
I'm gonna kind of look down at my pad and I was just like, I would not trust he didn't leave something behind to track any outbound calls from this device or anything. Could you let the party know about what has happened?
Oh, sure.
And if they decide to come, just direct them here. I'm gonna take a nap. And he's just going to just kind of lay back on the couch and just kind of try to pass this off, like, get his bearings.
Yeah, you have no worries. I'll do my best.
The
So-
disconnect sound really punctuated that.
Yep.
Nice. Where's actually
Just left the fucking call.
So, as all of you are getting up and ready, the detective who has been spending the night with Uvon, what questions do you want to poke with him, like in the particulars of this case?
So, what I imagined was, I meant to do this at, before going to bed. But
I will
it's
say that
slipped my mind.
Uvon is kind of like a very hard sleeper, and you do try to talk to him, but it's very clear that he is like ready to sleep and is probably going to fall asleep if you provoke him anymore.
Okay, well then I
So
guess
you wait until the morning.
Okay, so when the morning time comes, I just want to start asking basic questions such as, what leads have you been pursuing? What documentation do we have about the actual original incident way back when? And what's the current status of the investigation?
Alright, so you two sit down over fresh pot of coffee next to one of his tables in this temporary residence that he's living in. Well, we'll start off with the first one. You wanted to know about the incident in particular, like the origins?
Right, I just didn't know if you guys had gleaned any information in the investigation without me being here. That might be interesting.
Well, we did our research over the background of what we could get. It turns out when the city was under siege by the Syndicate, a lot of events were kept dark and concealed. One of those being the actual taking of the terraforming plants. There is no accessible information over the incident, but what we do know is after the event was over, it seemed to have been damaged in some way. Only recently we find out it could have a possibility of sabotage. We had assumed that it had just been chalked up to a, how do you say, collateral damage.
Right.
The event over Hollands was rough. I mean, this is after 60 years of rebuilding, and what they've still got gangs roaming the countrysides, lands dying. It's not looking too pretty. So that's for information over the incident. We don't have anything in particular. I'd love to go and check out the place, but they've got those little termites running around telling us to stick our nose in other people's business.
Well, I guess the obvious answer would be to find out why they're so interested in concealing the site from us.
Like I said, the upfront story, which of course I don't fucking buy, is that they need their privacy and that disturbing their engineers will only slow down the process, and that they are hard at work bringing this place back to semblance of order. But, like I said, I don't believe any of that.
We'll have to launch a secondary investigation to the current leadership of the company responsible for the terraforming equipment and see what their ties are.
Absolutely.
That'll be hard to do without any actual police jurisdiction, but I think we could pull it off. But
yeah,
before I can really officially induct myself onto this case, I should probably go ahead and go and talk to the big lady.
No kidding, I was just thinking of that. By the way, I didn't want to bring it up. What happened to your jacket?
It was a field loss. We
Fair
had
enough.
to. I'm gonna spare you the fanciful details of exactly what happened, but we needed to get information from somebody to not die in the middle of the woods, and they wanted to trade, and they had specific ideas about what they wanted to trade for.
All right, well, field loss it is. We'll get that sorted out once we're back at HQ. Don't expect much. We've only recently found a permanent operations station here in Zaylaw 3. That being said, uh, it's got all the shit that we'll need. So let's get moving.
Very good.
You go ahead and take Uvan's cruiser because most of the detectives here have been issued some kind of vehicle to get around the city.
Congrats, you're the first person in the party to ride in a real car.
And as you are riding in the passenger seat, you kind of get this uncomfortable feeling that you're being watched. And you turn around and see this very faint, gaseous, ghostly outline that immediately goes, "Sup?"
Am I the only one who heard her speak, or does Uvan turn around as soon as she talks?
Uvan doesn't do anything. He's just driving.
Okay, maybe he doesn't know about Aspect. I'm not trying to let him find out. I'm going to, give, a hand gesture underneath Uvan's eyesight, and the left of the left just kind of, I don't know, acknowledging that she's there.
It's okay, you can just think.
Okay, then I'll do so. Didn't expect to see you here. What happened?
No, it's cool. I was gonna give you your privacy, considering that, you need to get your affairs in order, but one of your friends got stabbed to death.
At this point, I almost have to fucking pull a bluff check to not let my eyes go wide.
Yeah, go ahead and give me a bluff check.
I love that. Oh.
So Uvan turns over, having sensed that he has heard something from you, but you kind of
Stony-faced
immediately
expression.
stone face. Huh. And he turns back to driving. Kind of like, you say something, but you kind of quickly affirm that you didn't say anything.
Who the fuck got stabbed? Why the
me.
fuck did... Sorry, good.
No, it's fine. Sal was the one that got stabbed to death. He's fine now, but
Why does this
yeah.
not surprise me? What the hell happened?
When you get a chance, you should probably go and visit him. I'll go ahead and mark your comm unit with the directions. But, questions?
Is he safe now? Is he out of harm's way? Is the
He's
thing
not-
that stabbed him coming after us too?
I don't think so. I mean, he's not very healthy if that's what you're asking, but
Well, of course not. He got stabbed.
he's not dead.
Was it a mugging or what?
Oh no, it was an assassination.
Another bluff check.
I imagine he said. I imagine he did
You
that while he was
okay? What's
drinking
going
and
on?
coughing.
Yeah, I'm fine. The air in this fucking city is so goddamn thick.
Oh, no kidding. He goes over and turns on the fucking internal cycle. That way it's not drawing outside air.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
He does raise an eyebrow at you, though. One of those rocky eyebrows.
Then I...
Yeah, I love how casual Aspect is about that. Oh no, just an assassination.
Yeah, you
But
just
she didn't inform the right
Just a
person.
casual, friendly assassination.
Yeah.
Just
Aspect.
please inform the others. Let me know if nobody can come to his aid. I have business to attend to. But if I have to, I'll try to go make sure he's safe.
He should be
Get
fine.
up.
I just figured you should know.
Yeah, I would say an attempted assassination on somebody that I've been traveling with is very much pertinent information, and I thank you for it.
Mm-hmm. Well, anyways, bye. Oof. The gas just completely disappears.
As she does, I just sit there for a second and just...
Who's knocking on my door?
Who could it be now?
Go back to the fucking the shuttle ride.
So, it is not long before you reach your Institute of Investigation. You both get out of the car, kind of dust yourselves off. Once again, Uvan asks if you're all right because you look a little bit more shaken, but you brush it off and continue
Right.
on.
I'm just nervous. I'm about to meet a new boss. That's all it is.
So he informs you that he just wants your like fucking jacket size. That way he can go and get another one issued from your quartermaster.
Just a medium regular.
Yeah. All right. So he disappears, and after a little bit of checking in with the attendant, making sure that you are registered here, there's a lot of people that are surprised that you made it. And it is not long before you are brought into the back offices. And as you enter in through the chief of investigations office, you see a very like bulky half-orc woman, almost aged. There's lots of like white streaks in the hair, wearing a officer's uniform, like straight up like fucking for your chief of investigation. This is like your big boss. And as you step through, you just kind of hear her brush off and saying, "Close the blinds, please."
I assume she's talking to me, and I will go ahead and do so.
Yeah, you reach over to the blinds and pull on the tile bullshit. You pull on the string and it raises the tiles to block the view from everybody else out. Go ahead and sit down.
I do so.
So, give
As
me
I
a sort
sit
of
down.
what happened.
Oh boy. You're straight up not going to believe a lot of the shit I'm gonna tell you. So I'm not gonna tell as much as I'm gonna show. And as I say this, I'm going to bring up my comm unit and bring up various points of video footage I've collected of being inside the Space Hulk, of the town of Kiliad, of the aftermath of the bandit wreckage and maybe parts of the Parandora Keep. You can see that I got a little bit sidetracked.
No kidding. She's skipping through a lot of the footage, but getting kind of like a general sense of where you've been and what's going on.
Just trying to prove here that I didn't go AWOL. If I could have, I would have been back here sooner, but debts had to be repaid and my survival had to be insured.
That's understandable.
Unfortunately, while I was out there, I had no way of continuing onto the investigation or finding pertinent information, so I'm starting from zero as far as the actual fine, dirty details are going.
Alright, so...
Before, of course... I'm sorry, go ahead.
My first immediate thought is you need some kind of recompense or hazard pay for this stuff that you've been through. It's very clear that you've been taken to the wild end of what this planet has to see, and you should be justly rewarded for that.
If nothing else, I'd really like that new coat sometime today.
I can have that done, and I will see about having our financial agent give you some means of recovering from what you've been through.
I appreciate that very much.
On a second note, we do have an agent filling your position already, and as much as I am reluctant to take him away, I feel that it would be unfair to leave you in the dark.
Well, I understand. It's a shameful thing to be kicked off of a case. If this guy's done nothing wrong, I don't want to rob him of his employment. If you have secondary contracts happening with open spots, I could fill those and work on this as a side gig if you want to put the poor chap out of work. Besides, I'm brand new to this. I know my pull is very low, and I'm not going to try and bully somebody out of their position.
Easteth is a good agent, but he's definitely not suited for some of the higher tier investigations that we commit ourselves to. He's more of a field officer, somebody who runs errands, gets coffee, that kind of thing.
I'm flattered that you seem to be implying that you think I'm a better fit for this investigation, despite the fact that my track record is basically nil at this point, beyond some analysis work.
Think for just a second. These things that you've been through. You went onto a damaged starship. You wrestled with whatever that is, and she freeze frames on the, like, coalescing figure of Aspect pretending to be the scientist.
Oh, God.
And continues to fast forward until you get to the documented entries of fighting Jackson and his actual nature. You've explored broken starships, dealt with strange enigmatic AI, and fought a vampire.
I have definitely padded my resumes in ways that I never thought nor wanted I would.
At this point, I'm thinking that you need something more fitting for one of your particular expertise.
I'm listening.
I have no doubt that Uvan has informed you of Dora's situation, that we are stifled in our current case. I have an agent meeting with Stursk, not that far away from this time. Now, originally I was going to put a simple agent here just to get some surface level information from this leader, but I'm thinking that you might be a better fit for the job.
All right. I'll
Sorry
accept
to
your...
make that sound so awkward. What I'm trying to say is I need somebody to meet with Stursk to get as much information out of that high-rise rat as possible, and
Right, I
maybe open
understand.
us up to further investigation.
Agreed. We need to find out why the hell they're trying to guard themselves so closely. It could be something as mundane as they're worried about corporate espionage and us leaking secrets, but I don't know. I have a gut feeling there's something else going on here. Stursk, he's the head of security for the site, isn't he? Or is he one of the executives?
No, Stursk isn't one of the security personnel. He's the actual hand-in-hand, the chief executive officer of their particular company. If you are unfamiliar with events in Hollands, you'd know that it's a bit more advanced than some of its culturally enriched neighbors.
Like Kiliad.
At the current moment, Stursk is planning on holding a gala about a week and a half from now.
My eyes
at
almost
first.
light up at the prospect of mentioning a gala, some decadent event of high-end or high-profile individuals mingling and gathering. This is the type of thing that's straight out of a detective movie, and I'm fucking down for it.
I figured you'd be down for it.
It sounds like a fun night.
That seems settled then. I'll update you with the means of this investigation, and for the moment I'm going to have to ask for your cessation of investigation over the terraformer case. We can't risk compromising our events, our mission, by preemptively going without any word or favor.
Right. Stay on his good terms. He's more likely to talk when I meet, and then after I've gotten the information out of him, then we can piss him off, potentially.
Exactly.
Alright, too easy. In the meantime, I'll work on trying to source some nice clothes and maybe work on my two-step a little bit.
I had my worries about you, but I gotta say those are just about quelled now. Glad to have someone like you on our team.
You do me much honor, man.
You're dismissed.
A head nod, and then I stand up and begin to walk out towards the door.
And Ankos, send me a copy of your reports.
Too easy.
A lot of the desk jockeys
Ow,
sit
shit!
You okay, Brian?
Yeah, I just slammed my fucking funny bone against the goddamn table.
Yeah,
That's
don't
not
do
very,
that. That fucking
That's not
hurts.
very humorous.
Oh my god.
You can kick me for the campaign now.
Funny.
Ankos takes 5 psychic damage. No, I'm joking.
Christ.
500 psychic damage.
Right, after the end of this
Ankos'
conversation,
brain
I imagine I walk out the office and close the door and just give a quick breath of great relief. I'm back on the case. I have a job. I'm getting in good with the new boss. Things are going well. And then I drift off into thought about the party just ever so slightly, and then I think, Saug almost got fucking killed! And then I need to fucking get a hold of Aspect and try to find out where Sal is.
As you go through this flurry of emotions, all of the desk jockeys just kind of like sifting out through these little blocks, kind of look up from their desks, see your breath of relief, and they're like, I know that feeling going and seeing the boss. And then immediately it turns into worry, and it's just like, oh god. you just evoked this crowd of...
unless I'm mistaken, I don't think Aspect told you who got assassinated.
She did.
Oh, okay.
She did.
It was Sal, and it was an assassination.
That's literally what she said.
Well,
Do
yeah,
I have
I know
any-
she said someone was assassinated. I just didn't hear her say Sal.
I don't want to contact Aspect inside the building because I don't want to. I don't want to draw attention to her more than I already have. So I'm gonna try and get with Uvon, maybe see if he's gotten that supply request in through the office to get my new coat, and then after that I need to try to fucking contact the gang and be like, hey, we've got a fucking problem. Well, one step at a time. I'm gonna go find Uvon.
You did tell Aspect to tell us.
Yes, so I'm waiting on that.
We'll get to that in just a moment, but you go and find Uvon, and he is currently like at the hole in the wall with a fucking simple glass kind of protecting anybody from crawling through to the supplies back there. And he is currently chattering with a stubble of a man, like bald, 5 o'clock shadow, a little bit overweight, and they are currently talking. And it looks like Uvon's getting just a little bit frustrated. And as soon as he sees you, he's just like, "Anko's come and rescue me from the situation. Fucking, there's like 5 different options for accessories for this stupid jacket. What the hell did you have on your last one?"
Shit, I mean, it was a first issue basic field code. I don't think I had anything on there. Let me... I mean, if I got options now, I'm gonna take them. What do they got here?
They just got a variety of things. I'll just pass this shit off to you.
Alright.
He walks over to the wall and simply kind of leans against it.
Alright.
Do you approach the balding, overweight man?
I do. I take a quick step up and say, good morning, sir. I'm here about picking up my jacket. Heard I got some accessories. Yeah, hi.
No, we got a couple of packages. I assume you know everything he knows.
Yep. Give me the crash course.
Alright, so we've got one for your typical field agent. We've got one for people who are expecting a little bit more conflict. One's for our smooth operators, so you say. I suppose I should break them down a little bit more.
When he says conflict, I kind of briefly flash back to me getting ripped apart by wolves outside of Jackson's little trap and think that might be more viable than I thought.
Let me just explain a little bit about these things. Your typical field agent coat has a lot of extra space for pockets and keeping utility items. It's pretty fucking useful for that kind of shit. The combative one is reinforced with a micro weave, a simple sort of metallic overwear on this coat. It'll give you a bit of a extra resistance in case you take some unnecessary fire. And Uvon immediately perks up and just goes, "That's the one I own, by the way."
Might be following your footsteps here pretty soon.
Our smooth agent coat essentially allows you to keep to the dark. It's built with sound-resistant fibers, and he keeps on going through this list of packages, and eventually it becomes obvious, like, he is trying to get a sense of, like, what kind of agent you are trying to become. So what are you particularly interested in?
This is... The smooth operative type sounds, quite frankly, more fitting to what I might be inclined to, but seeing as how I've already seen a great deal of combat and conflict, and I now no longer have the safety net of my party to keep me safe, the idea of the combat weave sounds very good. I'm not in this business to be a gunslinger. I have no interest in getting in firefights that are unnecessary, but I've already nearly bitten it once, and I have to wonder if that weave might give me a few extra seconds of life.
Alrighty, well, I'll get that order for you. It'll take a couple of days, maybe half a week for that to come from the capital, but for now we've got some, like, simple utility coats. You can borrow one and then bring it back whenever you get your actual coat.
How about this, though? I was mostly musing with the combat coat. I still think that being stealthy is my best alternative, so the smooth operator package, I think, is what I'm going to pick, because this small... I am so bad at combat that this small, like, buff is not going to be enough to keep me alive in a bad scenario.
He kind of scratches his chin and just goes, "Is that your final decision, or are you going to go back to the combatant coat?"
No, I want to try emphasize the art of stealth over war.
Alright. Well, if that's your final offer, I'll go ahead and punch that into the computer. Like I said, about half a week tops. We'll get that down from the capital, and you can come and claim it. I'm
Alright.
sure I can get somebody to message you.
All right, appreciate it.
Yep.
And just I'll take one of the utility coats in the meantime, if you don't mind handing one out.
Yeah, it's fine. So he goes ahead and takes one off of a hook on the back, and you can see that it's a bit dirtier than you're expecting. But this is essentially like loan equipment for those who have lost or have damaged shit for the meantime. So these things don't get replaced; they're not brand new. It's just you'll have it just because that's what you guys have.
Upon throwing it over, the coverage and the weight are comforting and familiar, and I enjoy it. But at the same time, there's a hollowness with this, something not quite as special, being that this is just a temporary stand-in for something that I lost.
Hey, now you look like a proper detective.
Thanks. Oh,
All right.
Anyway, Uvan.
So what's next for Orion?
What's next for Orion? Well, shit. Some business came up with some of those guys I was talking about. I just got to go do a quick check-in, and after that, I should probably go ahead and give you the updates from the boss lady. And back in the case, our next event is a gala with the CEO of the goddamn business.
No fucking kidding.
Yeah, I've got a date here. I'm going to send you the details. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and find a suit and work on my dance routine a little bit. I suggest you do the same.
Well, I don't do dancing. Well, not of a normal kind.
Well, you just step on somebody.
Very true. All right, well, I got other shit I need to tend to. You go figure out what's wrong with your friends.
Appreciate it, Bombre. I'll swing back by the house sometime. We still have to have a drink together, off record with no business talk. It's been too fucking long.
Definitely. All right, I'll see you. And he turns over and walks.
As he does, I also leave. And from there, I assume we can go to the other characters. Also, I need to do some quick notes here. What was the name of the individual that I am meeting with at the gala?
So you are meeting with
Stursk, I believe.
I know his name. I just need to find his company.
Is there a journal function in? Oh wait,
I can quickly make a journal for you if you would like. So let's make a copy of this. Let's rename it. This should be Inkos Orion Notes. And you should be able to open up the journal tab. And you should find one that is a Inkos Orion contact list, which is for people that you have contact with. And then Inkos Orion Notes.
Okay, much appreciated.
So, are you ready for the information?
Yeah, let me just fucking figure this out. Okay, go.
As far as you are aware, this event will happen half a week from now. You don't have any solid information. You will be meeting with the CEO Bolvok, B-O-L-V-O-C, Stursk, S-T-U-R-S-K. He is the CEO of Stormcast Innovations. And he's hosting a gala.
God, it fucking deleted the entry. Hold on. I need to remove push-to-talk because I have to fucking type out to fucking talk.
Excellent. We don't really care about push-to-talk anyway.
I just don't want background bullshit to be in the recording. I want to maintain integrity.
Yeah, that's what I try to do. That's what I try to do.
All right, so the push-to-talk is off. I'm going to close this, and I'm just going to go to a Microsoft Word document because for some reason that keeps closing itself, and I do have a Starfinder folder, so...
We'll figure it out later.
New Word documents.
Half a week, CEO of Stormcast Innovations, Bolvok.
How long is half a week? Is it 3 days or 4 days?
He doesn't have any concrete information, so he doesn't know until he gets more shit.
Stormcast Innovations?
Yes.
And the name?
Bolvok, B-O-L-V-O-C, Stursk, S-T-U-R-S-K.
Bolvok Stursk. Very nice. Okay. I'm going to add in parentheses, look this guy up and find out what I can do to get an in with him.
Awesome.
And from that point, I have no immediate business other than Well, I guess, fuck, at this point, I need to figure out what the hell's going on with Sal. Do you have a way of contacting Aspect?
You could try to get a hold of her, but you do remember that she did update your like comm unit with, information as to where exactly you should meet up.
Okay, so I'm gonna go to this meeting point and hope that the rest of the party's there, just in case we have to fucking do some bullshit.
That being said, before the party leaves for the day, everybody getting ready to go out and see about conducting some business. It becomes immediately known to everybody that Aspect has entered and is currently sitting on the side of the couch.
Oh, hey there. Nice to see you again.
Hey.
Yeah.
So,
So-
what brings you to our friendly neck of the woods?
Yeah, I went ahead and told the detective, and, well, I'm getting ready to go ahead and tell the mechanic. But, Sal died.
What? Hmm?
Yeah, if you want any more information, I'm getting kind of tired of reiterating, so go and meet up here.
As soon as she says go ahead and meet up here, Tim Tom grabs his medical equipment
All right, I'm just going.
and then fucking books it out the door.
I don't know if that's gonna help. He's dead.
Yeah, totally dead, and
Dead, yeah.
Aspect disappears.
Dead like we were when we came out of a certain wreck. I get the sense he's fine. Let's go.
Well.
It is not
Fair.
long before the mechanic is also interrupted and sent to this location.
As Aspect interrupts Yari, she finds him eating 2 raw eggs over the sink while the mechanic is not in the room.
So
Not-
as Aspect coalesces and catches you like in mid-action, she just kind of like brings up both hands and goes, "I'm not even gonna ask. Here are the directions. Go here," and then she disappears.
You're just going to slurp up the last of the eggs directly from the shell
Fucking thing.
Moth.
and head back to the.
Moths.
So, everybody in the party eventually meets at the high-end apartments. So, although it takes a little bit of a mustering, you do inevitably get the desk person to let you up. It is not long after you all are kind of like one by one arriving on the outside of his door that eventually you weakly answer Eli and let them into the apartment.
As soon as that
Everybody
happens,
pours in.
Tim Tom not so much grabs him, but like
Sal is just kind of sitting.
starts
in his,
immediately
chair.
doing medical shit on Sal.
Sal's just sitting in his chair, sipping on what's left in that bottle that he had.
Oh, hey there. No. You've been gravely wounded. Alcohol is a blood thinner, and it is not recommended that you consume alcohol in your current state.
I'm just going to give him a glare, like a really bad glare.
Look, if you need something for the pain, I got some painkillers.
I'm just going to look at him in the most calm voice and just say, I've had a long night. I have this bottle of alcohol, and I don't intend to waste it.
And I should mention, as you all are looking at like this noble who, after answering the door, basically just like went back and crashed on the couch. To his left is just what appears to be a burn mark right through the couch, and there is just blood everywhere.
Okay, well, you're not dead, so that's a good thing. Sal, mind answering us, what the hell happened?
I was just about to ask the same thing.
Also, I apologize for cursing. I am so sorry.
I'm going to kind of sit here and think. I'm going to see Yarich, and I'm going to toss him my comm unit.
Is Yarich even here? Oh,
yes,
yeah, he is.
You all basically answered one at a time.
Yeah, he is. I forgot.
Let in at once.
I'm just going to use one of our what is it called? A token spell. I'm gonna levitate a bottle of alcohol, another one over here, and just guys
the
might as well.
line that is now stacked next to you, like bottle after bottle, another one is going to join its brothers.
Except I'm going to kind of set it on the table. It's just like you guys might as well crack into this. This is going to be taking some time.
Am I at the scene yet? We all arrived here.
Like I said, you all arrived one by one, and then you were all let in at once.
So, I've seen enough people die that I don't need alcohol to ease my thoughts about it. Tell us what happened.
I'm just going to kind of sigh and just be like, well, I had a unintended visitor within my abode last night. After
You had an
sending a message
assassin
off.
break in and murder you, yes.
Indeed. Well, there was also part of the circumstance. That came after the conclusion that I am apparently, as of yesterday, cut off from resources. And I have very good, let's just say, my intuition's telling me that that assassin was sent from my family.
What? What?
Why
Yari's just
is your
going to go
family
up
trying
to.
to kill you, Saltegris?
Yari's just going to go up to Saltegris.
I'm just gonna kind of chortle a little beneath my helmet. If even they don't like you, I think that explains a lot.
Yeah, even your own family wants you dead.
Hey, look,
Not,
someone.
I'm just going to kind of glare at 447 and just be like, to be honest, I do not think. I think they were more along the lines of taking advantage of circumstance, but they were mentioning a
Yes, the
test of
circumstances
sorts.
being that you were alone and they wanted you dead.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're not answering the question of why does your family want you dead?
Would I know off the tradition of like you know?
Oh yeah. So something about your family. Your family isn't like very traditional. A big thing about like these kinds of aristocratic backstabbing motherfuckers is that you're not necessarily like a pampered child. You are meant to be a tool for the family with like royal benefits.
This man is Killua.
So this is essentially an attempt to strengthen your resolve and your skills. And if you weren't up to chalk, that would have been the end of you. Also worth noting that that was not from your family's clan. It is likely that they manipulated whatever clan to bring them here rather than send one of their own.
I'm just going to say.
So you gotta keep up appearances, you know?
Well, let's just say whenever my father had joined with my mother, he stepped on a lot of toes with his previous clan. Now, they see a child of his out and about. They would see it as a good opportunity to get their revenge. However, a particular, I would say, tradition amongst my family, considering my own status within it, they took advantage of this and as a test to see my merit.
So
So to put it in a fewer words,
your family knew they were coming and let it happen.
So during this
I'm
entire
just gonna kind of
conversation,
give him a nod with the glass, like he's on point with it.
during the entire conversation, Yarich's eyes will just slowly glide towards the couch, noticing more and more. It does not look like a burn. Can I make a check on whatever this is?
Engineering. Another question I have to ask: are these people gonna come after us now, just associated with you? Have our lives been put in danger? Is this a personal squabble?
Would I know off the top of my head, like, you know, whether or how that usually goes?
It's possible, but unlikely.
I'm just gonna repeat that back to Orion.
You give me great reason to not associate.
I'm just gonna cross my arms, real reassuring.
Tim Tom is has
I
a fucking
enjoy
blood
living life
pressure
without having to
things
look over my fucking shoulder.
attached to him, and has like a bunch of medical equipment attached to fucking Sal.
I'm just going to just say, to be honest, I do not think that they would go out of their way to attack you. And considering that for all intents and purposes, I have died, and if he reports back, it may have bought time, and if I, let's just say, lay low for a bit, it should blow over.
All right, well, I'm going to tell you the obvious shit. For starters, you shouldn't use that comm unit anymore if it was something given to you by your family. Don't ever try to pull funds out of your family's account again, because if you see that active, they're going to come immediately back after you. Or they're going to assume somebody's trying to steal their account information.
I'm just going to kind of gesture towards my comm unit that already has the battery yanked out of it.
Well, I guess you're not that stupid then.
Believe me, it's not my first rodeo with this sort of stuff, but it is the first time I've been on the receiving end.
I never thought Sal was stupid.
Something,
Just a little
something,
morally skewed.
something karma, I suppose.
Believe
So,
me, it was as
Karma's
much
a
of a shock to
bitch.
me when I realized
Actually.
my, let's just say, allowance came back. I was barely into my monthly allowance.
Well, you're alive. It's highly likely that the assassins now think that you're not alive, which is a very good thing. I see no reason for me to worry more about this issue.
And, well, there is another thing that
I thought it was a bit taboo to try and kill your kids, but maybe that's just where I come from.
No,
It is.
no, you're right. It's weird. This is weird. Your parents are weird.
Yeah.
Tim Tom's like,
They're
on a scale
creepy.
from 1 to 10, please rate your pain.
Sal is just going to give a really loud sigh, and then he's just going to gesture with his hand, and he's going to use Mystic Cure.
Go ahead and roll your HP restored, and I will describe what happens. But as you are doing so, Yarich, you're pulling out your assortment of tools and trying to get a overview of like what the hell kind of weapon could have caused this, gaining back 6 HP. We'll come back to that in just a second. So you take a good look at this, and you do confirm that this is no burn of any sort. It looks like the materials of the couch were taken apart and reduced to ash. You don't know anything beyond that, but it looks advanced, to say the least. So after your loud sigh, Sel, you go ahead and, with a simple mutterance, start re-knitting your own wounds, and it looks painful, but you're kind of used to the sensation. You can see, Tim Tom, that the drow is very capable of, like, healing his own wounds over time.
Oh, okay. That's pretty neat, but I guess, you don't need old Tim Tom, huh? Tim Tom is a
Not,
little Tim Tom has like this like little pouty face, like this little butthurt.
I'm just going to kind of look at him and it's like, no. For more specialized means and the fact that I can't just snap my fingers and be right as rain, but I can take myself away from the edge.
Okay.
Though I'm just going to kind of look at him and it's just like, can you at least help me bandage the backside? And he's just going to kind of gesture.
Tim Tom's smile immediately returns and goes back to medical work.
Nice.
May I assist you, Tim Tom?
Go ahead and make a medicine check.
Sure.
I'm going to look around at the devastation that's been wrought on this rather hotel room. I'm just going
Here's
to.
my
Yeah,
assistant.
26 bitches.
I'm gonna muse out loud. I bet the people who run this place aren't going to be very happy once they see this.
Oh, believe me, once I get up and around, should we say, I am probably going to, let's just say, leave. I was trying to be fancy about it, but at this point, I can't summon up the effort.
So, with your common micro lab, not typically very advanced just yet, you go ahead and start patching and bandaging and making sure that he's in a state that he can start recovering over time. Sal, you restore 2 points of HP. And you can continue to take care of him if you would like. It would be
And-
a long-term thing.
Yep, Tim Tom will be with him, making sure he's all okay.
And I'm going to kind of look at the rest of the party and just be like, well, this would be a moment for me to ask. I can't stay here any longer, and while I feel safe enough in the meantime, it was wise not to stick around. So, I'm finding myself in a circumstance that I don't often
Are you
have
trying
happen
to
in me.
ask if you want to crash on the motel couch?
he's just going to kind of get that really, like, that look of just defeat. That would be most appreciative.
Well, I don't know exactly how spacious that room's going to be with a good 8 of us crowded in there, but I'm not going to say I'm not going to say no.
He's just going to kind of let out, like, just sag in relief a bit.
Though there might not be as much wine as you might want.
He's just going to kind of look, and just you're gonna see.
Lot.
He's just gonna see 2 more bottles slip into his bag.
It is at this point that Vaku, your comm beeps.
Oh.
You go ahead and open it up and find that there is a new message from your unknown contact. Have you renamed that?
The contact?
Yes.
I'd look in the. So you got the party aspect, Doomtread. Oh, I don't think I've added the contact.
You can just call it like an unknown caller or unknown fucking contact, or you can give it a name yourself if you want.
I'm gonna say like.
I'm going to kind of
Crime.
look
Crime.
Yarich and just say, can you take a peek at my comm unit and see if there's any traces or trackers, and if you can, re-scramble
Sure.
the encryptions.
All right.
Sure.
Can do.
With all of that tech lingo, the moth just walks over. Give me an engineering check.
Another engineering.
What, me or oh?
No, I'm talking about the moth. You give it a brief look-see over, and you're like, yeah, it looks fine. You put the battery back in and turn it on.
I'm gonna put my dog outside real
I'm
quick.
just going to snatch it out and take the battery off. Like, I'm just gonna give him a look. It's just like, no, there's nothing physically wrong with it, except I'm wondering if there are trackers or something else.
It might be software based, so I might have to check that.
I'm just going to be, until I have a good idea whether or not this thing is usable, it's gonna have to stay off, and until I can get another one to transfer necessary information that I need off of it, I was wondering whether or not you could ensure that whatever's left behind from my family is not on it any longer.
So are you going to check the message, Vaku?
Yeah, that's what I was in the middle
your
of doing.
mysterious unknown contact says, "We have work for you. Bring your friends."
Okay. Oh, like, and I ask like, how many of my friends?
You do not get a response.
Well, this my new associates just told me they have work for me, and they said to bring my friend. They said to bring you guys.
Upon saying this, I'm going to raise an eyebrow and go, who is asking for us, and what exactly have you told them?
I'm back.
I'm just going to
until
smack my hand on my face and just be like,
I take it I've missed something important here.
You're just interrupting a conversation.
Great.
Let's rewind so Brian can join.
So, Vaku, go ahead and just start from, my friends of,
So, my new associate, they have work for me, and they said to bring my friends.
Who's your new associate?
I'm just going to kind of give a really, like, tired
I'm gonna
sigh.
level my head towards Vaku. Did they say us specifically, or just any friends?
I'm pretty sure they implied you guys.
I'm just going to be...
And who, might I ask, is asking?
I'm not at liberty to disclose that currently.
Don't fucking ask us to go help you if you're not going to tell us who we're helping.
I'm not entirely sure I'm going to agree to this.
I'm going to look at
straight up
Vaku.
not going to agree to this.
And
I am actually going to turn on heel and leave because I have actual business to do. And now that Sal's not in immediate danger, and I know I'm not, I have to go and do my actual business.
I'm going to kind of
I'm
look
actually
up at Orion and just say, to be honest, thank you for coming to check in on me. If you need any assistance that I can provide, considering it's not monetary anymore, he's just going to kind of give an upset chuckle. Just let me know, and I'll see what I can do to help.
Well, All right then, but quite frankly, I don't see our paths crossing too many times after this. Just watch out for assassins in the future, I
Oh,
suppose.
Enkos, before you
And
leave.
I'm
Yeah.
just going to kind of, while my skills tend to be rather specialized, I do know my way around people, particularly the higher sorts. So if you ever get in any situations involving that, I could be of some assistance.
We'll see.
He's just gonna kind of give him a gesture with the glass and continue letting Tim Tom fix him.
447, what was it you had to say?
Nice jacket.
Head nod.
Head bursts into flame. There is a skeleton.
Christ.
I'm evil, nigga.
You guilty.
Nice
Anyways.
jacket.
Kill yourself.
Did
Alright.
did Yarich figure out any software problems with my comm
You
unit?
haven't let him have the comm unit back.
Oh, that's what I handed it back.
Okay,
After-
well, if you're gonna
Okay.
turn it on, immediately you get like 4 comm beeps, 3 of which are spam, 1 of them is from Cat.
So, I take it I know the address of the motel that law enforcement comped for me.
Yes.
I'm just going to relay the address to Sal so that he knows how to get there. And, I'm gonna look towards Vaku. If someone wants me, I want to know who and why.
I'm gonna have to
I-
agree with Centurion over here. I'm not exactly very inclined to go work for people I don't exactly know.
Personally, I feel like I'm going to go and help Gokul repair our buggy.
Either way, and I'm just gonna kind of look at all the remaining party members, and just say I really do appreciate you coming here. As you can probably tell, this has shook me up a bit, and I'm gonna look at 447 in particular and just say, despite our differences of opinion, it does mean a lot for you helping me out. So for that, I wish to thank you.
Aspect said it was urgent.
But before I leave,
And given
I will.
that you were assassinated, it did put into my mind that perhaps I also was on a radar through association. But given that you've stated this was a familial matter, I'm a little less concerned now.
Either
I
way,
will.
Do you think
Yeah.
it's you said you were coming here to meet somebody? Is that because you met them? They're trying to kill you or something?
No, it was, let's just say, how should I put it? A gesture towards my mom or mother. I'm just going to kind of say angrily.
Yeah, no, it stops the entire atmosphere of the room for a second as he has to correct himself with the formal title.
Well, I was meaning more along the lines of, like, yeah, I'm not going to give any.
Stop himself.
Despite the fact she had suggested that I meet with this person, and I assumed it was just for one of the errands that she needed. But, considering the circumstances, I don't think that is the case.
Right. Well,
Outreach will go over and
you know
check.
how to find your way to the lodgings I've been given.
I may be restricted, but I'm not helpless completely. I'll be there.
Outreach will, before Outreach goes back to Gokul, he will check the tablet for any software issues.
I don't know how much longer I'll have access to those lodgings. I'm still questioning why law enforcement provided those to me free of charge, and I'm still waiting to hear back from them regarding my analysis.
So, you do not get a sense that the software here has been tampered in any way, other than, like, the basic things that you probably shouldn't turn off, like sifting through each individual file and deleting stuff you don't like. But, your curiosity is kind of piqued. Like I said before, this tablet seemed to have been messaged more than a few times, but one from an interesting contact that was just called Cat.
Your friend Cat says hi.
I'm just going to kind of look with a grimace, and I'm just going to kind of hold out my hand for the comm unit.
I'm going to hand it over. And I'm going to head out.
I'm going to take a peek at the message.
So I'm just gonna look towards you reach before he leaves. That Gawkle guy's at least paying you, right?
I did ask for payment. Yes.
Just
No. You asked to be a fucking, what was it? The guy who brings you coffee?
An intern?
An intern?
No intern.
An apprentice?
I said
don't
paid
know.
intern. Yes,
You didn't say paid, I don't think.
I did.
I thought intern implied that he was going to be at least helping in the mechanic shop, not just bringing coffee.
Well, I'm just saying, like, I'm not certain you have asked for payment from Gawkle.
Yeah, I'm not gonna.
He is not. He has
yeah.
not agreed to payment, is what I'm saying.
I'm not gonna weigh in on that one. I just wanted to bring it up.
Alright.
So, you're gonna go ahead and open up the message. Eli?
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and open it up and see.
So, the message entails that I have already informed your friend that he needs to gather the party, and that I would appreciate it if you would as well.
And I'm just going to type back, and I'm.
By the way, this was sent like while you were dead, and
Yeah.
this device has been turned off for long enough that you just haven't been able to respond to him.
I'm just going to say, had some complications. I will bring my friend, and we will meet up. And I'm just going to send that.
There is a moment of delay, and then you see the typical ... of somebody typing, and for the third fucking time, all he has to say is K.
Whoa, 3 Ks, cat racist?
I mean, maybe.
But either way, I'm just going to stand up, and I'm going to kind of sigh and just use Mystic Cure once more. And see if I can't patch whatever's left of the damage. Since I got apparently work to do.
7, what?
Yeah. It's 3d8s of healing. I just rolled really low the first time around.
I understand. Alright, so you go ahead. Restore your HP. Your shoulder still feels fairly sore, but at this point, you feel like you're back to your old self. Maybe with less resolve and stamina than previously, but you don't feel physically wounded anymore. Just a bit anxious. So.
Either way, I'm just gonna look towards Vaku and just say, I think it's high time we leave. We don't want to keep them waiting.
Wait,
and I'm gonna look towards
you're
Tim Tom.
meeting with the same person.
Yes.
I'm going to kind of look and just say, for all intents and purposes, I'm dead. And despite the fact, Cat is an independent. He doesn't really interact much.
So he's cat. I assume this is related to Mouse.
Former associate.
And who exactly is cat? If I'm going along with this, I want to know what I'm walking into.
Let's think more along the lines of a fixer.
You know,
I'm not
Tim
following.
Tom raises his hand.
Like that one cartoon.
What's
a
So
fixer?
when you say fixer, I'm just gonna tilt my head at you. What, a mechanic? Is this someone we can hire for Kiliad?
He arranges jobs. Think of him as more of a contact to arrange employment. And that can depend. Some legal, some not so legal.
And I take it he has a job offer for us since he's asking for the entire party.
Did he say, would I know if he was implying just between me and Vaku, considering we were what,
Well,
he met?
I've through your conversation, through you talking to Vaku, and from Vaku saying his employer wants to meet with all of us, I mean, I think the pieces are pretty clear.
Yeah.
I'm just going to, well, I had assumed it was just going to be me and I'm gonna kind of gesture towards
By the
Vaku.
way, this
Yeah.
also implies that Cat has been watching you all.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Yeah, either way, I had assumed it was just going to be the two of us, considering that you were, let's just say, worried about our debts to Kiliad still. So I was making a bid to hopefully gain the credits to help on my part. Originally, it was supposed to be, a token to show I'm actually committing, but now I have a feeling that it's going to be necessary for me
The
without
last two things we have to do for
resources.
Kiliad are hire a new mechanic and replace the buggy we wrecked. After that, unless you're all interested in going into some ruins to find parts to repair Doomtread, I think our business with one another is over. Not that I have anything left to go back to.
I'm just going to kind of look towards 447. It's just like, and I'm starting to have the feeling that's the case for me as well, at least for now until I get some answers.
But if this cat character has an interest in us, I want to know why we're going. I'm not
I'm just gonna.
promising I'm taking any jobs, but if someone's
Yari
going-
if
just
someone's knocking
antenna.
if someone's knocking down the door looking for me, I'm not going to turn away. I want to know why.
And hopefully there's at least some credits in it for us, and that way we can get this business over with
Like I
Kiliad.
said, not agreeing to work for this guy.
I'm just gonna kind of acquiesce to that.
If it's something easy, I could use the money right now from meeting him.
Even if I wanted to get involved in this underworld dirt.
How about this?
Law enforcement doesn't want me leaving the city.
And this will keep us employed in the city for as far as I know.
How about
So,
I'm going to go ahead and go back to Gakko. If there's anything that specifically needs my talents, come get me. But I'd rather go back to working on machines for a little bit.
That's your call, your reach, but I'm not gonna let some guy just go snooping around for me and not answer it.
I'm
I don't know
going
what to
to.
feel about that. I've already been tossed and thrown and all the stuff. I just want a moment to relax.
At that point, I'm just going to
We have your
kind of get
number.
up and gather
Alright.
gather my stuff around the apartment.
Yep, I'm already ready to go.
Tim Tom looks a little nervous when he's like, "Oh, we're gonna go work for some criminals." Oh no!
I didn't say
Darn.
anything about accepting work.
Darian is just going to stretch and, get pumped.
It's
question.
pumping time.
Quick
It's
question,
pumping
Levi.
time.
What's up?
Is there like a safe within the within
I'd
this?
assume that they have secured lockers, yeah.
You know what Darian needs to do?
I'm gonna
He
take a
needs to
peek
buy
at
a
them real
comm
quick.
unit.
No, he really does. He needs a fucking phone. Just like you need a phone, Malachi.
I have a bad phone at the moment.
Yeah, I'm just going to kind of take a peek at the secured lockers and just to make sure, I wasn't left. I didn't get to really check things over for clues, perhaps.
What are you checking for?
Just, I'm gonna open them up and see if there was nothing left behind. Maybe a means to track since I didn't use them.
I mean,
I'm
you
going
can certainly make a perception check to see if you can't grab anything that identified this individual.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do that.
So these lockers, are they just like the lockers are like anyone that's just kind of around here, or
No, they're
They're
like
meant for
a
the
private
people
room
inside
safe.
of the apartments. It's like a little private stash. You take a look around, but I mean, this was a solid professional that straight up assassinated you and then left.
In the
He didn't-
meantime, I'm gonna let my dog inside. I'll be back.
Yeah.
I'm
At
gonna
that
use
point, I'm just
restroom.
going to gather up my own personal belongings and, well, sans 2 bottles of wine, or brandy.
I think adding a comm unit for 7 credits would be acceptable, yes? No?
I mean, I assume you can get a credit off of the fucking comm unit off the street. Or off of like a basic mass-produced retailer.
Probably.
yeah. I'm just gonna like look at the
Applecom.
locker, see if there's anything that are any of them like.
Yeah.
Do any of them have any stuff in them?
Do you want to swoop and steal?
I mean, is there anyone around?
the entire party.
Oh.
Okay, I'm back.
Do you
They
want to separate yourself from the party? Maybe look for stuff to steal inside of Sal's apartment?
I said this earlier, but I don't know if it got picked up on. Whenever Vaku started talking about, hey, by the way, I have work and he wants to see you guys, I went, nope, and I left.
Yep. Yeah. And thus you have alienated yourself from the party.
This is fishy. I am already now being associated with somebody who's fucking getting targeted by assassins, and now somebody who wants to drag me into some other job. I am finding ample reason to distance myself.
Yeah, and
probably
Tim Tom wouldn't feel very comfortable with working with a criminal organization.
You want to be dragged into another job?
No one said anything about actually accepting the job. We're just going to talk to this fucking guy. I mean, if there was some weird fucker you'd never heard of before prying around for information about you, you'd probably want to fucking confront him, right?
Well, whenever I said I wanted to leave, it was never implied that he was
I'm not
watching
talking
this.
to you. I'm talking to fucking Matt.
Fine, I suppose if this person is
I've got an idea of what I want to do with you. Go ahead.
I don't like that. I don't like the implications behind that.
No, Hooper, I think it's perfectly reasonable for you not to want to fucking do it. I'm just fucking...
Yeah.
I at this point, I go my separate way. If nothing else, there's 7 of you all bumbling around doing things. Me going off screen for a while would not be hurting anything.
Yeah. So, I'm just like...
The horrid
forget the whole...
of fate will grab me one way or another.
Besides, I'm busy, like, with some other things, so I'm, like, kind of half paying attention. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're fine.
Okay, so I'm gonna just kind of gather my stuff up and get ready to leave.
Next on the stealing shit, if it's Stal's place, you know. I don't want to steal from other members of the party.
Okay, well, let's go meet this guy.
Alright,
What are we
so
waiting for?
you guys are going to go ahead and start? Get
Yeah,
on your way?
I'm gonna kind of take a peek, and I'm gonna ask the person at the desk, how long is the room good for?
Yeah, as you all leave, you do go ahead and ask the attendant, and she replies that, like, it's available for however long you need. There's a continual charge, and it's on a weekly basis. So currently, right now, it's a 2-week stay.
That's been paid for already.
Yes.
I'm just going to...
Complimentary drinks and so on and so forth. How is your day, by the way?
It's been exciting, and hopefully from it will be less so in the future.
We had gotten a noise complaint last night, but I figured with such a high-rated clientele, we wouldn't bother you about it.
There may be a little bit of, a little bit of an issue, but it was sorted. I'm just going to kind of give a really polite smile.
Anything we can help with, just ask.
I'm just going to give a nod of thanks and proceed to leave.
So, you all make your way into the Supernova, back into that really scummy-looking alley.
As we start going into the alley, Darian is going to kind of mumble to Sal, do you really think we can trust a guy that lives like this? Or is here in this place?
I'm just going to kind of look at him and just say, I'm just going to kind of weigh the options of, you aren't wrong, but at this point, I think we have no choice. And besides, who knows, a diamond in the rough. And at least if I can get some credits to get myself up and going.
No, there very much is a choice involved. I just want to see why someone's asking about me.
I'm just going to give him, just kind of nod my head at that and continue making my way towards the club.
In just one moment, you all can continue chattering.
I need to use the restroom. I'll be right back.
I just come back from the restroom.
Okay, well, if none of us have anything to say at the current moment, and Levi is otherwise occupied, are you here, Levi? Did you have to step away?
No, I'm still here.
Okay.
I just had to answer a question.
All right, I'll keep the recording going then for now.
All right, I am good. I don't know about anybody else if anybody's slipped away.
I'm still here.
Eli said he was
I'm
going
with the party.
Eli was going to the bathroom.
Do we want to stop for a break? It is now 4 o'clock.
We can stop for a break. I'm gonna go smoke a cigarette.
I have just now noticed that games are crashing for no fucking reason.
Uh-oh. Wait, games are crashing for no reason?
You will play Starfinder whether you like it or not.
I don't need a break, but I mean, like, if everyone
Only
else...
Starfinder, nothing else.
It's like a 15-minute or so.
I'll pause the recording for now.
Rapita.
Okay, so you arrive outside of the supernova in the midst of the alleyway. But before we get to that, Hooper.
Yes.
What are you doing? You said you had other business to attend.
So, upon hearing this fucking, it's not so much that I have other business to attend to. It's just that I straight up don't trust Vaku, and I don't want to be involved in whatever the fuck he's trying to rope me in. So I'm going to leave, and I'm going to go. See, I've been out of sorts for a while. Actually, for this gala, I do need to go about appropriating clothes. So I'm going to go ahead and start looking around and starting to build a receipt that I can bill back to the agency for a modest but hopefully appropriate set of attire. So I'm going to do clothes shopping.
All right. So, you go ahead. Start just browsing around fucking everything. Go ahead and give me a wisdom check to try and see what a sort of deal you could do.
Alright. Just a straight wisdom check.
Can't think of anything else.
Nice!
A 15 is pretty damn good. So, in order to really pose in with these upper-class individuals, you can't go cheap. So the minimum that you can find in order to actually, like, conspicuously pass as one of them is essentially a 500 credit suit and jacket.
Fuck.
Are rentals an option?
They actually are.
I'm gonna go with the rental.
Fair enough. You're going to go ahead and queue up for the rental and keep track of that mentally. But as you're browsing through shops and going through all of these districts in a city of bright lights and noise and cars and bullshit, go ahead and make a fortitude save for me.
A fucking... Oh, God. Well, here's Right Eye. Out of nowhere. For nothing. Pleasant knowing you. Oh, that's at a +0.
Oh,
shit! Let's fucking go!
That was a... For the purposes of the recording, that was a nat 20.
You go ahead, and as you're trying on this rental suit, you get in the dressing room, and you start feeling ill. Like, everything is getting nauseous, your world starts spinning, and you kind of have to steady yourself, and you configure the inner willpower to just kind of stand up straight. And you feel this lurching from deep within, and you kind of suppress it best you can, and cough just a little bit onto your glove. And you're not thinking that much of it, you know, people do get sick, but it's when you bring your glove back and there is black liquid, just a minor amount, on the glove itself.
Upon seeing this black liquid, my mind immediately jumps back to an earlier conversation that we all had of if one of us stays away from aspect in too long, what would it take for themselves? And I almost think to myself, wait, am I getting that backlash right now? Do I feel a constant, like a pain in my head or a sense of nausea that I can track?
You just kind of felt like this early stage of nausea and just kind of like this dissolution and dizziness, but after straightening yourself, it's faded, but you get a sense that, maybe it's just the beginning. You have spent a lot of time away from the party at this point.
Is Yarich feeling the same way because he went to the...
I would say that if Yarich has not accompanied the party, I would also request a fortitude save from him as well.
Please don't fail.
Great, maybe we're gonna get some conclusive results.
A 15.
Maybe.
So, in that same vein, you're currently working on the mechanic's shop, and he is kind of pitching in. He's buying drinks, making sure that you're comfortable while you're learning as much as you can from him. And you're in the midst of discussing possible payments when you start feeling that same dizziness that Angos did, this reeling sensation, you almost like fall over and let go of two of the tools that you are currently holding, and the mechanic goes to kind of steady you. And you kind of bring up one of your hands just to make sure that you don't throw up, and again, you are left with that same black liquid, the beginnings of this separation sickness.
I'm going to throw the liquid inside the claw and before going off and wiping it and tell.
I figured as a moth, you'd probably just drink it again.
It's like a dog.
I'm not
I
so
am
certain.
just joking.
But
or is he?
I think I might need to talk with my companions for a little bit, because I'm not sure what's going on with me. But I have an inkling of what might be happening.
Sure. I'll figure out some means of recompense. You've put quite a bit of hard work forward. I'm hoping you learned a thing or two.
I have, thank you, and I think I might be learning some more stuff soon.
Anytime.
Alright. Y'all each ways and begins heading off.
So, for my character, what I want to do is I want to try to note the time. I want to think about the last time that I saw the party, and the time that I'm currently with withdrawal symptoms. And upon this, after conducting my business, as I've seemed to stave off what the fuck was wrong with me, I'm going to go ahead and go back to where I know the party was at last.
Do you
or
have
actually,
medicine?
rather, what I'm going to do is I'm going. What's
You
up?
could call us. We have confidence.
Do you have medicine?
I don't have it, but I can roll it anyways because I have Jack of all trades.
Do it.
I also have medicine, so I'll roll it as well.
So, Jack of all trades does a weird fucking thing where it adds an extra point operative bonus. +2. Plus.
Just add it manually as a circumstantial bonus whenever you go to roll.
Okay.
Because you can click the skill and it'll give you an option to add bonuses.
Let me see if I did it correctly.
A 14 and an 18. So, Ankos, you're just kind of like noting down this stuff and keeping this a log to try and further your progress in identifying what exactly this is. Yarich, you get a sense that things like this aren't necessarily strictly when you last saw the party. You get this... You kind of like, after coming to the conclusion that the more time that you spend away, the more this will progress. And it's not necessarily that reaching and being with the party will reset it. It's more like staving it off and slowly replenishing whatever is keeping you here. So it's more your combined separation from the party that is kind of causing this. Like, just reuniting with the party does not fix it. It merely staves it off for a little bit until you go your separate way. So it's really been the fact that you've been staying away from the party and, you know, basically avoiding them that's causing this. You get a sense. That being said, you can log that information down to try and recite it to the other party members.
I will be logging it down.
What are the both of you doing now?
I will still be going back and kind of like, I don't want this to progress any further.
I want to. I guess what I'll do is I'll contact. I guess I'll contact Derry. Say, hey, where the hell did you guys go off to? Wait, he just got a con meter.
Yeah.
I might not have his contact information.
Yeah, you would not have his contact information.
All right, well, not
Could you
Derry.
imagine you just get a call from an unknown caller? It's just like fucking spam mail. Delete.
So I guess in that case, I'll contact 447. And I'll say, I need to meet up with you guys. I can't be certain, but I think I've experienced adverse effects from being suspect.
Alright. We'll hold up where we are and wait for you to regroup.
You soon get the very same type of call from y'all.
We're on our way to meet Kat right now. I look around. Are there any notable landmarks or anything I could use to help him find us? In fact, since this is the future, you know how in real life you can drop a Google Map pin and send it to someone?
No, it's Boogle. It's a Boogle.
What the fuck ever, Matt?
A Boogle pin.
Yeah, can I drop a Boogle pin that fucking Hooper can use to find us?
Hilarious and appropriate. This is exactly what happens.
Alright. I'll do the same for your reach since he called and fucking
kind of
checked in,
strangely
too.
the same similar circumstance.
Upon
to drop
getting the
another
Google
pin.
map, the Google Maps pin, I'm
Google.
gonna be like, oh, thank God they're not
Google.
using Ging.
Ging! Fucking
Oh my
Ging.
god.
I hate you people so fucking much.
Good. I hope you fucking do.
The assortment of autism.
So it takes a little bit, but waiting outside of this alleyway for your party members, your compatriots, eventually the moth shows up, and soon after, Ankos.
So once they're there, I'm gonna look around at the party. It would seem that the two party members who have departed from us have experienced very similar symptoms to one another after departing. I'm thinking this confirms our suspicions.
Well, I have a rough time period as to when I left, as to when I started experiencing symptoms again. At some point, I'm gonna have to test this out and see how long I
I'm
can
thinking
separate
since
without,
the both of you left us at around the same time, and you both started experiencing negative effects.
Actually,
we do know we do have at least an inkling that departing from one another and aspect might be harmful.
Right. Upon hearing Yarick's side of the story, where he's had the same thing happen to him, it's kind of removes all element of the doubt from my mind.
I will note.
I wonder if there's other variables that can go into the amount of time.
We might have to test this at some point.
From what I can tell, it's also dependent on a total amount of time, not just. It doesn't go away once we.
Not just distance, time spent apart also plays a role in this.
Yes.
We need to experiment.
You weren't gone for very long before it started happening either.
It also happens that total amount of time we've been spending away for the last few days.
Wait. So how would you know this for sure?
There are points where we split up, where I went along with Sal and your reach to the Parandor Keep, while you all stayed behind in Gilead, yet none of us experienced any adverse effects.
Maybe there's almost a bit of a chaos factor to it. After all,
when
we were in Gilead, we would, a lot of us would just disappear from trace for no.
I suppose we can't expect to know exactly how it works, especially since even Aspect doesn't.
Or maybe
Levi, about how long was the time apart that we spent?
So you spent a night with Uvon and then that entire day basically away from the party. So,
but I did rendezvous. It was for a very short amount of time.
You did rendezvous for maybe like half an hour, and then you left again.
We need to figure out like an exchange ratio between time spent together versus times that can be spent apart. I was able to spend an entire day away from you guys whenever I initially departed, but as soon as I left after the initial meeting, it seemed like I only had hours.
Well, regardless if this is how it's going to be, then our lives have just taken a very interesting
unfortunate turn.
Tim Tom will raise his hand.
So, luckily, my business doesn't take place for days, so I don't exactly have to be doing my own thing, but just because I like to pursue all of my possibilities as quickly as possible, how do you all feel about going to a gala?
A what?
I'm just
Tom
going.
raises his hand again. What's a gala?
Sort of.
I don't like those kind of people.
And just be like, oh, it's been a while since I've been to one of those. Who are you? Who's hosting?
A party?
Don't worry about it for now. I'm just gathering information.
Detective, do I look like the kind of man who is allowed into parties?
At this point, I shoot you a withering glare and say, I know exactly how insane this request is. I'm trying to figure out if I'm completely fucked or yet, which I'm gonna go ahead and go towards the former.
Well, you have a job and a career, and you can't exactly be lugging us around for it, so this is going to be a problem.
Well, I'm sure you don't have to be my back pocket at all times, but this is gonna make life very hard.
You work as a detective for an agency. I move my hand towards Darian. You are a freelance bounty hunter. I move my hand towards Vaku and Sal, and you two are criminal underworld workers. We all have very, very, very different professions, and there's no way we're going to be able to make this work. Not that I can
I-
think of.
Unless we have some way of, getting a group kumbaya together.
I'll be right
Yeah, I've come to the same conclusion.
This is going to be a problem. As much as I hate to say it, if we're actually tethered together like this, a lot of us might have to think about new lines of work.
I'm trying to get back to Causton.
Castellum?
So
And I'm a bit of a drifter, so this isn't
if I
a
don't,
problem.
I need to find my mentor and see if he's okay. I don't
Shall
want
I
to
make
just.
a pin board and we can throw all of our problems onto it?
First things first, this cat character wants to see all of us, and I want to know why. I reckon we keep on our feet like a cat.
Tim Tom kind of sits there, blink, blink, blink. Oh, I get it. You're making a feline joke. Oh, that was a funny one there. I like it when you make jokes. You're always so serious.
Can't
You
bear
need to
how
learn to
slow
loosen
you
up.
are, Tim Tom.
What?
I can't bear how slow you are, Tim Tom.
That's not true. I'm actually quite fast.
Stop trying to ruffle his feathers.
Oh, I get it, because he's a bird.
You get
No,
like in fucking contact from Aspect, who just says, "I'm sick of all of you fucker."
Well, you could have just let us die, and this wouldn't have been a problem.
What, you got a bug in your system?
Yeah. These circumstances are quite grave, don't you think?
Tim Tom literally collapses on the ground.
I'm just
cracking
dying
up.
to find out how we get through all
right,
this.
Okay, that's
Vaku,
enough.
you're pushing
if my
it.
own resources were not so stranded, I would pay you all to shut up. God damn
Really,
you.
you'd pay us to shut up? Here, I thought you'd send assassins after us.
At some point, I pull out a flask and take a nice big long drink.
I'm
In
pretty sure
response to all of
there's.
your fucking puns.
I'm pretty sure there's something in the code of conduct about not making so many puns in rapid succession, but no one's around to enforce that anymore.
Oh, don't be upset, 447. Just because it's not punny.
So at this point, since you all are in the alleyway, you hear the armored door unlock, and a fucking like scrawny individual step out and just goes, I know you all are having fun, but the boss asked me if you all are going to come inside or not."
Oh, so you're
Gary
not
begins
what,
saying
the
them.
cat?
No.
Anything to end this fucking
I'm
conversation.
just going to flag them along and just go ahead and enter.
Cool, thanks. He closes the door behind all of you guys. So, you all enter the supernova, which appears to be cold and dark for right now. It looks like it is closed during these particular days. That being said, there are individuals chilling out in the central chamber. Most of them look to be grizzled mercenaries. And it looks like once business, in terms of the club, has died down, that's when the real, like, crime shit starts to happen. So you're taken back into a more private area, not the same one that you saw Cat in before, but you enter a small building where there are 2 guards on either side of a desk, and sitting, relaxing back into a chair is the, like, disgustingly moist, almost molluscoid skin that is, like, mottled in this, I don't know, almost this tannish with brown spots. It is definitely as if a slug gained humanoid form and a sharp, angular face with cat-like eyes. This individual addresses all of you at once, without actually speaking, but through mental communication. "I'm glad all of you could make it."
What do you want with us?
"How rude! I've not said anything to offend you, have I?"
I'm just gonna cross my arms. No, just not a big fan of underworld slugs.
Forgive him.
"Is
He's
that a joke? Ha 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 ha.
Tom kind of
Anyways,
snickers under his breath a little bit at hearing him.
I have business I wish to discuss with all of you. You have quite the skill set I've seen.
Yeah.
All
Yeah,
right.
say that.
What exactly have you seen is my question. What do you know about us?
It's my job to know everything that goes on in this city. So I have a basic repertoire of your skills. I understand that each member of your bands has talents. And as this conversation is going on, he is looking from one to another. However, the person who is at the end of the line is Darian. And underneath your helmets, you are measuring these guys. These two guards that look rather bulky. They're human. You don't see any cybernetics on them. One of them appears to have a slung over rifle that doesn't look too terribly fancy, and the other one currently has a pistol on its holster. You look at Ket himself, and it appears that he does have clothing that is kind of like loosely attached to him via these strings that likely are designed not to kind of fuck with their skin, and it is opposed to a utility rig which looks to have a pistol himself. That being said, the mercenaries that you entered in here looked pretty grisly. You get a sense that you might have to wait for a situation or create a situation yourself, and that a frontal engagement might be difficult without your friends.
We'll put a pin in that.
Another to the party pin board.
So you go ahead and mentally slot that aside. And as he refers to each of you, giving over a basic idea of your premise and not going too much into any of your backstories, eventually he comes to a close. Most of you can tell that he's not too concerned about where you come from, but more or less what are your current intentions and how your skills might be put to use. And as he comes to that point, I have work for all of you as a group. Something that you may be interested in, perhaps.
And I'm assuming the pay is good.
Hold
It
on,
will
hold on. You need to
be
give us a lot more details with the work before we talk about anything else.
sure. Ask your questions.
For
Is it
starters,
legal?
I very much doubt the legality of anything you're offering. Who are we? Give me the exact details of the work that you want done.
Well, we've only just gotten to know each other. I need to trust you before you can trust me. He raises a hand in one of his three-digited fingers. You have my utmost promise as a
Your
professional member of this community that
your
I...
promise. Sorry, go ahead.
No, please.
That was more me interrupting.
I've invited you here.
You say you need to get to know me, get to know you, but I'm not telling you a goddamn thing until I know you. And right
How
now,
are you aware of us anyway?
Through your two mutual contacts, your friends, this one, and he kind of turns over Sal and Faku.
I'm kind of curious as to how you figured out who they were exactly. As I just said, I was traveling with someone, but considering your position,
Mike.
Yeah, you need to fix your mic, dude. Unless they were openly spilling information about us, which
Better.
I wouldn't recommend.
No, I assure you, I have means of acquiring information. Not to give too much away, but I would point out that you did list your contact information in the security checkpoint on entering Hollins.
So you have a backdoor into law enforcement databases.
He gives off a simple shrug with both hands to the sides of his head.
You do understand, then, of course, that we didn't put it in a situation so we get heckled by somebody for extra work that is most likely going to land us in a lot of fucking trouble.
If we do our work well and quietly, then I assure you, you will have nothing to worry about and an ample supply of credits to do whatever you wish.
For a
I
criminal
understand that you are looking to buy a new vehicle.
For a criminal kingpin, you seem
Looking
to
to
make a lot
buy
of
a
assumptions
vehicle to
about
replace
there
the
are.
one that got wrecked, not for my personal use.
Exactly. Wouldn't it
Any-
be much easier to gather some work on the sides?
Even if I did agree to work with you, I can't leave the city.
You don't have to leave the city. Not yet.
Anyway, to the point I was trying to make. For a criminal
Go
kingpin,
on.
you seem to take a lot of liberty in trusting people you don't know. You may know what we can
Well,
do, but you don't know who we are, and you don't know where our loyalties lie. I can
exactly.
imagine more than a few of us have quite a bit of issue working with criminals.
Well,
I'm
then,
not a cop, but I work with a lot, and work like this would stain my record in a way that's irreparable. And do me a lot of good to cut contact with you right now or speak again.
Just so
Then
you know, Hooper, you are kind of cutting out a bit. Like I think we can still understand you. I got the gist of that, but you're kind of.
Yeah, it's because I'm not talking loud enough and I'm using voice detection. If I just talk louder, it's not a problem.
Cool.
Then let's start with basics. Neither of these individuals will speak anything to anyone outside this room. That is very clear to the both of them with the high pay grade I give them. So, instead of referring to you by your base names and identity, why don't we establish a mutual no man's land? You give me a contact I will call you by, and I in turn will keep your information secret. You don't have to lose your employment. You can continue to do your regular job. You are not a law enforcement officer.
Sometime while him talking, it almost seems like a cog into place. Alright, well, how about this? Provided I don't find your work too detestable, maybe I want my payment in something simple credits. You seem to know everyone and everything in the city. Maybe I want information instead.
That sharp expression refines, and although this creature doesn't smile, you get a sense that it seems to have achieved whatever it intended to do when it came here. I can reward you in any way you wish. I have many contacts in Hollins. Credits, information, equipment is all at my disposal. I just need individuals of sufficient skill like yourselves. How does the rest of us feel?
I understand this is a little on the nose, but you'll have to excuse me for asking. In Kiliad, we met an individual by the name of Mouse, and your cat. Any relation?
Absolutely. I would tend to not lie to people that I'm intending to work with. So, yes, I was once business partners with Mouse, but he was unstable and selfish, to say the least.
Well,
He intended to drag our little under empire for his own personal quests onto a track that it did not need to be on.
Mouse was willing to sell out an entire town full of innocent people just to save his own hide. Do anything like that?
I would say that I have a sense of self-preservation, but as long as we conduct our work in a professional manner with the interest of both parties kept in mind, that shouldn't be an issue.
I'm not killing any innocents. Not
You
happening.
don't have to.
I'm also up for that as well. I am not willing to
And I'm
kill
not
people who
stealing
practice.
anything either.
Who said anything about stealing?
I don't know.
These
Given
jobs tend to be really flexible
This
depending on what you're
this
skilled
seems
in.
like a pretty under the table venture to me. you aren't quite willing to do your business in the light, so I'm not entirely sure it's entirely ethical.
Maybe I can start with our first business proposal. I used to have affiliation with a gang known as the Fire Rats. The deal was going fairly well for both of us until they decided to cut ties. They possess an individual of note that is very valuable to me, an agent by the name of Slice. I need somebody to go and pick him up for me. This gang is holding him hostage, you see.
Insight check.
Go ahead.
So I gotta roll insight too.
Wait, that'd be sense motive, not insight.
Sense motive. Yeah. And I think I get like an extra d6 because of my expertise.
Go right ahead.
Yeah,
Hell
Tim
yeah.
Tom doesn't like this situation at all.
The both of you come to understand that, like he had stated before, he's not interested in lying to people that he is just starting to get to know and wanting to work with. So it is likely true. You don't get any sense of anxiety. He seems confident. He seems like he is trying to cut a deal that benefits you both in a calm and professional manner.
I'm gonna kind of tilt my head towards Darian. You've been awful quiet through this whole thing.
Well, doing a lot of thinking for one, but if you need to find somebody, I am a bounty hunter, you know that.
Oh, very intriguing. So,
Wouldn't mind some extra work on the side.
with the discussion of work comes the discussion of payment, and he kind of clasps his hands together and sets them down on the desk. What do you feel is fair recompense for your actions?
You're expecting us to go into a hostile facility of some kind, fight our way to a person of interest, and fight our way back out with him and get him safely to you. That requires
You achieve your own goals is up to you. I will not necessarily say that I am sending you, as you so adequately put, as a hit squad. You have many means of achieving your goals. These fire rats, a group of 5 to 6, so I have surmised, are likely not going to immediately engage you in combat. I need Slice. You need work and money.
This is still very well a situation that could quickly turn hot.
It could, but I am confident in each of your skills.
Will transportation, in order to get them out,
No,
be...
my point still hasn't been made yet. This is dangerous. If you're going to want us to do, if you want us to do this, then you're asking us essentially to put our lives on the line for this cause.
As I had mentioned earlier, with the discuss of risk comes the discussion of recompense, and I had queried you all for fair compensation.
That's what I'm getting at. It's not going to be a small amount you're paying us. Not as far as I'm concerned.
What do you all feel is fair?
So me not knowing the economy but still being pressed for an answer, I'm gonna kind of not.
I will give you all a moment, please. I do not wish to force anything upon any of you. This will be a decision of your own will.
I'm not going to actually make any physical movements that are visible, but my eyes are kind of darting around in my helmet as I say 500 credits apiece.
That's probably fair.
I would accept my payment other ways. It's fine. That's between me and the slug. You have to worry about what exchange for this information. Did I cut out too much there? Was
Nope, I heard you.
I must admit, 500 is steep. Maybe we could cut a more reasonable deal. I would propose 250.
I kind of glance around at the rest of the party to see if they're making any objections.
300.
Tim Tom is attempting not to freak out because Tim Tom is very nervous at the moment.
So,
Okay.
Vaku, as you mentioned 300, go ahead and make a diplomacy check.
Another person who's actually good at this in the party. This is good. I'm gonna roll to assist.
1.
I'm gonna roll to assist.
What do you say to assist?
I'm just going to say, it would seem rather appropriate, a flat number. Makes it nice and even. Wouldn't you say? Oh shit!
I absolutely agree. 300 credits. Does that sound adequate to everyone here?
Well, if my traveling companions seem to believe it's a fair cut, then I'm not going to argue.
I'm happy to set a fair and justified number
Fine.
aside for each of you, and I look forward to furthering our business relationship.
I still don't trust you, but this work doesn't seem to go cross to any of my moral compunctions. I accept.
You're cutting out, Brian.
Of course I am. Great.
Yeah,
awesome.
Brian, you're
See-
really
yeah,
right.
okay, great! See you guys later! Fuck!
Yay!
Technical issues.
We're going.
Go.
We're going. We're going. We're going.
I assume that 300 credits is a fair and reasonable amount, and that this conversation has gone quite well. What do all of you say?
This.
Are
Say-
you
We can-
willing to work?
I still
We can
don't.
discuss my terms in private.
I still don't trust you, but this work doesn't go against any of my moral compunctions, so for the time being, I accept.
I don't
Indeed.
think a rescue mission's that bad. Do you? I look at to the rest.
I'm just gonna kind of look towards the rest of the party. Men in his work have jobs for everyone, so it's not difficult to find suitable work for each person he meets.
I mean, this seems fairly standard Tuesday.
Yeah,
Tuesday for dog.
Yeah, sure.
What's wrong?
Search and rescue is fine.
You
So
Tim-
I gladly
Tim-
accept.
tense.
Tim Tom is just shrinking down, trying to find someone to hide behind.
Now,
You're
it may
bigger
be
than anyone in
entirely-
the party. That's gonna be
Yeah,
hard.
exactly. It may be entirely unintentional, but the cat-like eyes and angular face almost seems to resemble that of a predator. And again, this may not be of his own volition, but the way that his head cocks around and like gazes down on Tim Tom makes him look like he's like scrutinizing and identifying weaknesses. It does not look very pleasing.
Tim Tom is more scared shitless. He does not find this to be a very comfortable, comforting situation to be in.
Forgive him, he's not used to these sorts of things.
Understandable. Did I get Vaku's opinion?
Yeah, I'm good with this.
Excellent. Now, do any of you, aside from the detective, wish to discuss an alternative form of payment?
300 credits, what's my whistle just fine.
Good. Anyone else?
I would like to, it's less of more of payment, but a confirmation of what I had understood this to be. This is going to be all strictly confidential between each of us, as
Exactly.
I've had a few issues recently that I would rather not, that my presence here is not identified.
Yes. Yeah, ran into some trouble not too long ago, and he's trying to lay low for now.
I see. What sort of trouble?
I'm just, what was the name of the clan? I remember it being the
Wolf.
Scorpion.
Okami.
Okami.
The Ku Klux.
Let's just say it involved the Okami clan, and if you are familiar with stuff off-world, that should ring bells.
The wolves. They sent their hounds after you. How very interesting. Well, if you're looking to identify why they're coming after you, I can certainly look into the matter.
Let's let's say put a pin on it after we get this done, but I would prefer, let's just say I left them in a state that they would believe I perished. I would hopefully like to see it remain that way for now.
He makes some motion as if he were sticking something to a board and goes, pin put.
We still don't know where exactly we're going for this.
That will be discussed, but in the meantime, I would rather make sure that all of my employees are getting adequate compensation. So, please, go into the Supernova, have a drink, relax, and talk about your situation, and I will take a moment with our dear detective.
I suppose I should ask, payment rendered before or after the job?
That is something to be discussed.
I kind of shake my head at this and leave the office, since that's apparently what he wants us to do.
I'm just gonna slip into one of the bars, like the booths.
I'm going to sit next to Sal and ask, any good fermented drinks you would recommend?
I would say it's up to you to pick your poison, considering I'm still not sure what you would be preferable to drink without dying. But I'm gonna see if they got a bite to eat. I didn't get any this morning.
Tim Tom's like,
I had a few eggs.
I'll take anything.
I'm just gonna kind of look towards. I'm just going to go up to the attendant and just say, can I get a round of drinks for our table?
Immediately the person who is like attending to all of this, you can tell is not the bartender. It looks to be a mercenary who is rifling through all of the alcohol cupboards and just being like, what? Oh, you want a drink, I guess? Here. He pulls out a bottle and sets it down on the counter. Pour yourself something. Have fun.
I'm just gonna kind of give him just a wave of the hand and sit back down. I'm just going to kind of pour everyone something.
I'm going to flick my.
I'm gonna wave your hand as you move to give me a drink. I don't drink.
I'm just gonna just nod and move on.
Dog will take his glass and slide it next to his.
Okay. I'm just gonna once I make sure everyone has who's drinking has some. So 447, you had issues. Well,
Once I get a little
reservations about this.
cocktail.
Reservations about working with this man at all? Yes.
And I understand that, but considering our circumstances, this would be
give me a
appropriate.
second. Just go ahead and talk.
It's going to be the best way to make some money at the current moment, as much as it grieves me to admit it.
And I could help clear up what this, the general kind of work he offers. While yes, a lot of it is of the morally on the other side of the law, he does have a lot of work that is within, you could say, the parameters that you won't see the inside of a jail.
So, while you're talking about this, I just kind of like lean forward in my seat and put a hand against my helmet. I don't fight for money. It's not what I was made to do.
I'm going to just, I could see how that would be a problem, but at this point, you could instead of considering it as money, you could consider it as resources to sustain yourself, because you are without support in this time period. And until you get to the point where you can either A, find the answers you're looking for, or B, a path that you're willing to take, you are going to need
I
credits to
found
do
the
it.
answers. The answers are everything I know is gone.
But the answers of what you're going to do now, that's what you're looking for, correct?
Yeah.
You're going to need credits whether you're not, your choice that you're going to make. Either that being transport off this place, a place to stay, or equipment to continue in a line of work that suits your skills.
And since we're all tethered together through aspects, I'm probably not going to get much of a choice as to what my life becomes in the next few years, if I manage to live that long.
If we can get off world, we can hunt down a source that would see us, have our problems fixed. But for now, this is a job. that is not on the complete unlawful side. It pays well, and it will be apt for our conditions with Kiliad.
Can't believe I went from fighting to defend my people to fighting in the name of table scraps in some rundown city.
We all got to start somewhere, and
I did
I
start
mean,
somewhere, and it was a hell of a lot better than this.
I'm just gonna kind of nod. And it seems like with our circumstances, we're gonna have to develop a more group mentality, and I'm willing to curb some of my, let's just say, aspects of my personality to help with
So
this.
it's upon you hearing, say, develop more group mentality, I kind of sit back up. And I suppose to that end, we're going to need our own vehicle, which means we're going to be in the market for 2 separate Jeeps. Probably more, since there's so many of us.
I apologize. I had familiar matters to tend to. What
That's
is
fine.
happening? Are we still in conversation?
Yeah,
Okay. So,
that could be arranged. That was the closing to whatever Brian was saying.
all right. Are we at a good closing point where we can go and check up on Ankos?
I think
Mm.
so, yeah.
I would say so.
So,
Really?
as the rest of them leave, he assumes a much more like confident stance where he kind of leans on his own desk and folds his fingers together. Now, we are both no nonsense, so let's go right to business. What is it you want to know?
There's a man named Bulvok Stursk. I want every single ounce of dirt you have on this man.
Dirt. Clarify.
Illicit dealings, contacts, anyone to about, affairs, anything I could dump on his head.
Well, what I can tell you immediately as a part of, well, my assumed half now, half later strategy. I can tell you that the Stursk family, though coming from the Syndicate, originally had wide dealings with the houses. They, in fact, were very interested in the technology that belonged to the ancient empires. So, isn't it a rather odd coincidence that after the Syndicate stormed and waged war and conquered, that they swept in and claimed things?
A bit more than a cool.
Stormcast Innovations is a new corporation with no significant or historical ties, and they have been sweeping up everything on this planet.
I suppose the crux of this entire endeavor is that I want to find out why they have been hoarding this technology so aggressively and what their allegiances and intentions are towards the Syndicate.
Well then, that is something that we can both certainly agree on.
I don't expect you to know all the answers of some random man I throw the name of off the top of your head.
Random. Stursk is one of the most notable figures in the city. I will look into him. You have my word on that.
Good. Then I can say that it's assumed that I'll accept my payment after the job, when you've had more time to do your research and I've had time to earn this pay.
Absolutely. But I do feel it is unfair to only give you this in information. So, for the moment, reduced income would be adequate. He extends out his arm, which you hadn't noticed is now holding a credit chip.
I will take the chip.
That is 100 syndicate credits, as opposed to the 150 I intend to give to your friends.
That is fair. I was going to wait to discuss payment of ulterior payments until I decided whether or not the information was worth the full amount, but
I mean
I
to
will-
foster a proper and positive business relationship.
very well. I won't get in the way of that. Well, I know what I want from you, and you know what you want from me.
Mutual understanding. Go have a drink and send your friends back in.
And I will stand up, give a polite nod of the head, and then walk back into the lounge. And upon sitting down, I'm going to look through the cabinets for a nice bottle of scotch, grab it.
It's a
and-
nightclub, so they have it.
Okay, and then I pour it into a glass and sit on the couch and begin to take a drink before I even bother to say anything.
I
Just kind of
imagine
in-
Tim Tom is just shotgunning whatever he like, just slamming.
Oh no,
drinks.
alcoholic energy.
Oh god.
Tim Tom is very nervous and he is trying to find comfort in this.
Give me a
Bullshit drink.
fortitude save.
Yeah. 7.
7. You start getting a bit woozy.
Yeah. Sal
Not
had just
drunk, but
after-
you are shotgunning liquor.
After sitting down and maybe finishing about half of my glass and seeing Tim Tom rapidly becoming in a state unsuitable for conversation and intrigue, I say aloud, "Cat's ready for all of us whenever we want to go back in. I'm just enjoying a drink in the meantime."
So with that, I'm just gonna
I'm gonna-
stand up and head towards his office.
I'm gonna
Joy.
I'll just
finish my
grab
drink
a.
and
I'll
what
just grab a
and
quick
my
little
bite to eat.
cocktail real quick
and
and
go.
something a little fruity.
So, seeing that Tim Tom is not doing too well, Darian is going to come by, pat him on the back, and be, "It's all right. You'll do good in there. You're twice his size anyway."
Tim Tom looks at you with this look of just fears, like
He just looks
like
at
the
you.
real like the sudden like Tim Tom's like, I don't want to hurt anyone.
Well, between you and me here, some people in this world deserve hurt.
I agree, but
I love the, like, if you have the context.
if you have the context.
Yeah, the context of what Dog has just said.
Anyway, I think it's about time.
Can
to
I
get
can
back.
I do like a sense motive on what the fuck he just said?
I mean, it's just something that, if you don't know, you don't know.
You're not. No.
You
Oh,
wouldn't
get
get
it.
it.
I don't get it. Tim Tom doesn't get it.
Tim
Darian
Tom-
gets it, but
You
Tim
wouldn't
Tom
get
doesn't
it.
get it.
Yep.
Tim
What's so
Tom
funny?
Tim
You
Tom
wouldn't get it.
stands up. Okay, I guess.
So,
Well, like I said, I was already heading to his office the moment fucking Anko
Yeah,
said
yeah,
we
yeah.
could.
Yeah.
so you go ahead and re-enter the office, and kind of in this fostering, brooding sensation, he is awaiting for somebody else to open, just kind of like these negotiations.
Well, sorry, I'm eating as well. It seems that against all odds, we are in a unanimous decision that we shall accept work from you. Give us your details.
So with that, all of like the strange aquatic plumage that this creature seems to have starts to kind of float to life. The center of his face splits open to reveal a third eye.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
that's fucking weird.
Since you all are going to be my operatives for this mission, please, a series of questions would be useful.
Transport. What's that looking like?
I could arrange for someone to take you to that specified destination
And will they be sticking around?
for as
For
long
exfil?
as I would deem it fits. It won't take too long, presumably.
No, I don't think it would. But it was just something that would seem rather pressing that we have worked out beforehand.
What are the tactical capabilities of these gangsters?
They possess a rudimentary assortment of firearms, including minor energy weapons. Nothing of real concern.
What our
But
current-
together, as a member, or as a gang, they can pose a threat.
Would our current armaments be sufficient to deal with them?
He gazes at all of your weapons. They were checked in at the checkpoint, so I have an understanding of what you all carry. I think that you are more than adequately prepared to deal with these thugs.
And as you said, transport will be arranged to take us to the location, so we don't need to know the precise address then.
Do you
The
have?
less you know, assumedly the better, but that is a bad way of phrasing it.
Is there? You have a idea where they generally keep him, where he's isolated at?
Well, as a slicer, hence the nickname Slice, he is a proficient computer expert, someone who I had kept under special observation in my employ. He was given to the fire rats in order for them to gain a tactical advantage over one of my foes. And in their betrayal, they have decided to keep him as a indentured servant. So wherever they are keeping him, presumably is in a place filled with computers.
And Slicer, as you said, was one of your associates, so we can assume he'll be perfectly comfortable coming back home. He's not going to put up a fight.
This, I am certain, is not a willing cooperation.
Of course, he's not willingly cooperating with the fire bats, but
Rats.
he would be willing to cooperate with you.
His eyes kind of narrow and look a bit tired. I was his first employer, and we had a mutual understanding.
Okay.
All right, good to know. We won't kill him then.
Please do not kill him.
I mean, if he
Killing,
fights us,
I'm just gonna speak up. Killing him was off the table, but I wanted to make sure this was really a hostage rescue and not a counter kidnapping.
So he almost kind of like ruffles up, but you can see him swallow his own pride because he is like trying to encourage this cooperation. I assure you that I do not intend to deceive you.
Either way.
He was a willing employee. He was paid an adequate compensation. We had an understanding. The fire rats took advantage of my hospitality, a mistake I do not intend to make again.
And
I have no further questions.
When is there a time period that they are out doing business that they may leave him behind in with minimal guard?
I suppose.
Go on. You are my guest.
I suppose a better way to frame that question is, what intelligence do you have on this compound so far?
Well, that is what I am hiring you all for.
Understandable. Before we immediately swoop in and take this man out of there, I'm definitely going to want to take a look at the place myself.
Understandable. There is no need to go in guns blazing, and your transportation will be quite reasonable.
Very well.
Seems we're in agreement.
I am happy that things turned out the way they did.
When can we expect to leave?
As soon as possible.
I'm just gonna kind of look towards the rest of the party.
Well, I have no prior engagements. I suppose I could go take a look around the joint, scope it out.
Yeah.
Then, half now, half later, he sets a series of credit chits on the table and slides them forward and kind of separates them with his fingers. Each of you may take one, and that is half of your total compensation. You will receive the other half on completion of this mission.
And I take it if this were to go south, then you would expect this back.
No. I am giving this to you with full confidence that you will engage. Let me rephrase that. I am giving this to you in confidence that you will work properly for the other half. If things turn south and don't go as planned, that money is yours.
Understood. No other questions from me. I suppose if we're ready to move, then we would like to see the transport.
Very well. He goes ahead and makes mention towards one of the people next to him, and that individual, one of his guards, starts to lead you out of the nightclub.
Cool.
Okie dokie.
Any of you have any business to take care of inside of the supernova?
No, not in the supernova.
Nope.
No.
The only other thing
Tim
I wanted to
Tom's
do
trying
is
to repress a minor
Not yet.
panic attack.
the only other thing I
Yar-
wanted to do is really minor, and doing it now would just slow us down. So
As we,
Yeah,
I
reach-
suppose, walk out of the club, I'm going to see that Tim Tom is doing a very bad job of suppressing his nerves. I'm going to ask him, "Hey, big guy, you all right?"
Oh,
Yarich will
no,
stop at the doorway
that's
and
scary. I
say,
don't do too fare well against, you know, the more seedy types. Don't worry, I'll do the job.
Listen, I understand this is outside of your wheelhouse, but if you need moral justification, we're dealing with gangsters on the behalf of gangsters. Nobody innocent or undeserving is getting caught in this crossfire.
Yeah, I've heard that one before.
"No."
I'm not gonna ask what you mean by that.
I'd rather you didn't.
Doctor, I don't mean to insult you, but we're going to need you to keep your calm and your nerves. You're going to be involved in this operation. If you're going to continue to behave like this, then I have to recommend you see yourself away.
No, I'll get it together.
Yeah.
Don't you worry, sir.
Yarich, before he completely leaves the room where Cat is, his antenna's going to stop as an idea forms. My friend asked for information. I understand if it's too late now, but if you could, maybe during another payment, maybe you could seek up a Phoenix Comet. He used to teach me.
I will offer you the same deal I did your detective. You will receive a compensation of 200 credits and information. I make no promises that I will find this individual, as he does not spring to my mind immediately. But you have my confirmation, I will look.
Understood. Yarich is going to head out.
All right.
Well, we're all heading towards the transport to get on our way towards the facility.
Yes. Rounded away from the supernova, maybe a block or two away, there is a garage. This individual has to prompt the person for some kind of means of entry. He is greeted by another one of his companions. And these are pretty regular looking guys. I mean, they just presumably work for cats. But they take you in the back, and you do find that parked in this two-car garage, there is a kind of rougher, beaten, almost dirty black vehicle, but it is enclosed. And then there is a van that looks extremely conspicuous.
Oh, it is the classic.
like a
fucking
white
panel
it's like
van.
a white
It's the
panel
white
van.
van.
Oh god.
Oh, God, this is just
Nice.
screaming, pull me over, but whatever.
I certainly hope not.
All it needs is free candy written on the side, and we're good to go.
Tim Tom raises an eyebrow, not fully understanding the reference.
One of the people who is currently standing, the two here, like, that thing's seen us through some tough times. I wouldn't disregard it completely. That being said, you are a pretty fucking full crew, so I suggest that we do take that van.
I'm just gonna hop in.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw open the back and I guess sit down.
I'd like to
Alright.
sit in the passenger seat if I can manage it.
Yeah, no, that's fine. We shouldn't have any problems getting there. There's no point in pulling us over, like you said, but I guess it's good to meet you all. You got titles, nicknames, something that I can call you by. That way I don't have to use your real name. Like me, you can call me Wheels. That's all you need to know.
My number is fine.
What's your number?
447.
Got it. Anyone else?
Suppose you could call me Desert Lightning.
Desert.
I kind of
Oh.
cock my head towards Baku before
his-
like looking away from him.
Yeah, his mouth kind of opens as if he wants to say something, but then, all right, Lightning, I got it.
You can call me Booker.
Booker, I like it.
I guess not, boy.
Moth boy.
What about mothball?
You just say moth boy?
I think he said mothball. I think that's what came out of his mouth
Yeah,
there.
I can call you mothball. That sounds good.
Okay.
Taste these mothballs, boy.
God damn it.
Be fucking quiet. I've got to sit like you passenger shotgun. If this is what I had to expect. I didn't mean it to sound so hostile, by the way. I'm sorry.
Oh, whatever.
All right, I am highly debating if I actually just want to go with
Please
dog.
don't.
That would be
But
so
I'm not.
cool.
What about hound?
No, that's even worse.
Wolf.
Canine?
Canid
Such
the,
a cool.
Canid the hunter of
I have
bounties.
I have justification for this. You know what? There's that one cartoon with the cat, the mouse, and the dog.
Oh boy.
Call me dog.
Yes.
Great.
I'm so happy.
I wish I had the dog the bounty hunter theme queued for this.
I'm the dog, the big bad dog. Oh God, no.
I'm just going to kind of look up and just say Kane. It's what I went by, or whenever I had to do stuff like this before.
Like a
You're
Kane
about to
like-
turn Dylan Rodgers, by
Kane
the way.
like the first murderer, or Kane like I
A
don't know,
walking
sugar
stick.
cane.
Kane, K-A-N-E.
Hey, Annie, got it.
Yeah, it's like the first murderer.
I was thinking like a walking stick.
All right.
First
Well,
murder?
is that
Was the first murder and the walking stick have in common?
Lance Corporal Timothy Thomas.
One used the other.
too much information? I'll just call you Lance.
Y'all are just going to go over and hug Timothy.
Doctor, we need you to gain your composure.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Bigger hug from the small moth.
You're not his fucking mother. Stop coddling him.
Just this small moth and a large bear.
Like I said, Doctor, if you need to sit this one out, then no one's going to think lesser of you. And I'll make sure you still get the other half of your payment.
You know, Timothy, if one of us gets hurt on this, and if you're panicking, that could mean bad things for the person who's injured. You wouldn't want to mess that up now, would you?
Make him even more nervous.
Tim Tom like closes his eyes and just starts basically like breathing and counting to 10 to
I
calm
think
himself down.
the best way to keep the doctor's nerves in check is to let him know you can step out now if you need to. This isn't anything that's being forced on you.
No, it's not that. I'm just a little uncomfortable by the situation, but you need me, and so I'm here. Don't you worry. I won't let my emotions get in the way.
All right.
Keep a cool head.
So let me get this straight. All right. I just want to clarify that way we don't fuck up later and exchange names and get distracted. I'm Wheels. You're Desert Lightning. You're Booker, Mothball, Dog, Kane, and Lance. We're good?
Indeed.
All right.
Sure.
That's what we go by. All right. Where the fuck are we going?
I kind of shake my head upon hearing this. You just
No,
calling my fellow
sorry.
operatives by their numbers.
I'm sorry. Did I ever get your number?
I did. I wasn't shaking my head at that. I'm just not used to code names.
Well, this ain't exactly a professional military. I mean, what the fuck do you expect?
Numbers.
All right, numbers.
I'm just going to put out my comm unit with the information on where we're going. This is where we're going.
Sweet. All right, how long do you want me to wait behind? I'm sure I can find some, like, convenient or disclosed parking. Keep the eyes off of us.
We aren't going to be just running in guns blazing. We're going to want to do some reconnaissance first.
That's good. The last team I had to escort were a bunch of fucking morons. So
once our
I'm glad you're a bit more smooth.
Once our recon is done, we're going to find the best means of egress into the building. Would you be comfortable with being a getaway driver if need be?
What do you think they call me Wheels for?
Understood. I'm not entirely sure how long this is going to take us without first seeing the joint, so let's get there, then we might have an answer for you.
I suppose since you have been talking to him for a while, it's adequate to give him a description. He's a shorter, light-skinned, thin man who is wearing like a gray knit sort of beanie. Your average racer blood.
As we begin to get en route, I'm gonna be doing things such as checking my weapon, making
Yeah,
sure the slide works.
I'm gonna do
and
basically the
making sure
exact same thing that fucking Ankos is doing. Just
as I run through function checks on my sidearm, I'm going to muse to the group. When we approach this place, we need to be very inconspicuous while we case it. We shouldn't all stay in one place, and we shouldn't all come from the same direction. We need to split out maybe about a couple blocks away and then case the joint. We need to check for external security, cameras, all the like. Find power sources. Maybe we can cut that out.
Oh, I know a little
Yeah.
bit about those rats. They ain't fucking smart enough to set up cameras.
Regardless, underestimate your enemy, and you're gonna find yourself dead.
Now that I'm kind of thinking about it, I mean, I know that I'm not supposed to talk about jobs like this, not supposed to have that much information. If their computer guy is the one maintaining all their electronics, wouldn't it be good to get seen by the cameras?
that's a
I
good
do not
point.
think that
Elaborate.
he might not
No,
know
think
that we
about
were
it.
working with Cat, and therefore
Yeah, listen to numbers.
447. Anyway, the hostages.
Numbers.
The hostage we're looking for is, as Kat informed us, in charge of their technical operations. If they have him running computers, there's a very good chance that there are cameras. He's going to be the one watching the feed. Which
It's
means
possible.
if the hostage sees us, he might not be inclined to tattle.
Yeah, you just
Well,
gotta make sure that
there's-
they know
At
that
the
it's
same
Cat.
Hold
time, he's
on.
a hostage, and you have to wonder how much he's gonna have faith in us.
Yeah.
Also
And
true.
not only that,
If he panics
not-
and if he thinks that ratting us out could potentially guarantee his safety, that means that we've tipped ourselves off for no good fucking reason.
Yep.
If
not
the
only
siege
that,
happens,
you don't know if he's being watched.
Also true.
I don't know. If I was
He
these
could have.
criminals, I'd
He
be a
could have a
fucking
gun
idiot.
to his head, and they could be
If I
forcing him
was
to run
a criminal-
security.
Kidnapping somebody against their will, making them work for me, I wouldn't put them in charge of their own fucking security. You can be damn sure of that.
But at the same time, he was hired to, as I said, oversee their technical operations. How much do you want to bet they don't even know how to work cameras?
I don't want to make any assumptions. I don't know anything about these guys beyond hearsay.
And maybe I'm getting too ahead of myself. We should just get there. We should scout out the place, and then you come back and we figure out something.
There.
Acceptable.
So
And-
a number of minutes pass as you all sit in silence. If there's
I'm
anything
gonna-
you want to discuss.
I was just going to continue meditating to see if I can't dredge up, since I kind of expended myself, keeping myself alive. I'm gonna see if there's any way that I can recover as best I can.
So you start sitting down, going back to that dark place, and just contemplating. And it's not long before you are sitting back next to your AI companion, and you just start to hear, "What you thinking about?"
I'm just going to look at her for a second. And just
You
say,
open your eyes, and you are in a sea of darkness, sitting next to Aspect on this, for the most part, mental construct of a bench.
I'm amazed I even got here this far. That's impressive. To answer your question, I had expended myself trying to keep myself alive. I was seeing if I could recuperate the best I could. I'm not at 100% at the moment, so that would be rather unpleasant for me to not at least check in on myself and see if I can't speed up recovery.
The things that you spent were natural reserves, and there's this kind of almost dreadful feeling that settles over this mental construct of the AI as, I don't know, it seems like she's kind of going back into that whole doctor personality type. I may not be able to help you naturally restore it, but there is an alternative.
I'm just going to kind of raise an eyebrow.
I have recently discovered the ability to spin this so-called force, which I have dubbed Anima, into a new force called Umbra. And perhaps something like that would be of interest to you.
Would I know if either, like, were these created terms or were they
These
already
seem to be
existing?
created terms that refer to the energy that you use to reknit yourself.
So how would that affect my magic?
I'm honestly not quite sure, but I am always up for experimentation. This reknit dark energy, it's empowered by its passage through, well, my unique physiology. Perhaps it would have some means of empowering these effects or helping you in dire straits.
You know, considering I didn't trust you from the get-go, and despite the fact that everything you had said came to pass when my untimely end occurred, I'm willing to give you this benefit of trust. If you think it could
Then
help me.
please allow me, just as an experiment, to see how this works.
I know if I die, you can pull me back together again, so...
You see this figure extend out a hand, and for a second, you see almost kind of like flipping images resolving into Phoebe Stenham, and then the doctor, Nosk. And then it goes back to that illusionary, formless black gas. And it seems like she is waiting for your hand.
I'm going to go ahead and, I guess, take the leap of faith and reach out.
As you place your hand onto hers, she dissipates and begins to flow in streams up your arm. And as the rest of you see Sal sitting in the back of this van, you see him shudder just a little bit. And you open up your eyes, and just for a moment, they are pitch black before that liquid seeps back, and they are back to their usual noble colors. For this purpose, at the beginning of next session, you will have one Umbra and one less resolve.
Okay. And that's a, permanent?
That will be something we will discuss next week. So,
Okay.
as our crew continues to ride in silence, eventually we come to a stop. He just says, "All right, we're here. You all ready?"
Affirmative.
I'm just going to do a quick once over of myself, and I didn't like out of character, like no spells gained per day. So it's just something happened that I don't know yet.
Something happened that you're not currently aware of.
Okay. I'm just going to look towards the rest of the party and just say, considering what happened earlier today and yesterday, I'm not going to be at 100%. So I'm going to be just support for the most part. Overwatch, if you will.
Let's stake this joint out, then figure out what we're doing.
Okay.
Well,
I'm going. The moment we stop, I'm gonna hop out and.
yeah,
Before we get
as we're
to-
all in the back and Ankos is in the side, what's your query,
Before we
Ankos?
get out, before we get too far ahead of ourselves, we should drop off at most 3 teams along different avenues of approach in the building.
And we'll
from
start
different
off.
directions.
We'll start
And
off with our first team here then.
all of the teams should have at least one person who is at least moderately perceptive in their ranks. Myself, Darian, I think Vaku,
Yeah.
maybe Saltegris, or I think the most perceptive among our bunch. Each team should have at least one of us.
I also think we should probably have people who are good with computers and engineering stuff. I'm pretty adept with computers.
All right, so myself, I'm pretty good with both of those things. So I'll take myself and let's say 447 Tim Tom. You go with Saltegris, Vaku, Oh shit. The Moth, you go with Vaku. The rest of you, split yourself as you see fit.
So
think-
am I going with Vaku?
Darian is the only one left. So Darian, you have a choice of which team you want to go with. Ankos and Centurion, Sel and Tim, Vaku and Yarich.
You know, I think the bear and skinny boy over there could use a bit more muscle.
So Darian, you go ahead and join Team 2. And with that, all right, Will, Numbers, Booker, get ready. We're making the first job. And I know we all just met each other, but be careful. I'm not fucking around. I want this to be good for all of us. You ready?
Born ready.
Let's do this.
Let's go. And as the doors open, that is where tonight's session will leave us off.
Cool.
Okay.
Can I just say I really like that session?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was nice.
I did too.
I am finding that I actually kind of enjoy the espionage bullshit quite a bit.
Yeah. It's
Heck yeah.
neat.
I'm
I
glad
was
you enjoyed
extremely
it.
tempted to
I'm
cause a
gonna
scene
go
in
ahead.
the
Oh, I
women's
would have loved that.
Yeah, but like,
Don't encourage him.
You know what would have been great?
He
When
dropped
that
his
shit
pen.
was happening, the Mandalorian theme kicks in.
Now, I know I've given the name to the past 2 sessions, but I have a good name for this session as well. Dirty deeds done dirt cheap.
Ooh. I second this.
filthy
I
racks at a
agree.
reasonable price.
Do you guys remember when Dog was just kind of like scouting out the security around Cat? Just imagine his eyes squinting underneath his helmet and this starts playing. Is it gonna play?
It's not
No
doing
result
anything.
found for that query. Okay, I'm going to get a new link.
It's all right.
But
I'll go ahead and cut the recording here, I think.